Hello, hello, hello. Greetings, Earthlings. It is a pleasure to see you all. My name is Dustin Cormier, and this is an episode of How to Rock Astrology. It is a pleasure to see you. For those who are watching, this is a live broadcast, which means you will be able to join and to be a part of this podcast. Feel free to say any questions, say any hellos. Today we are doing some live readings. Another Thursday doing some live readings. I've decided to do one today and then another one, I think perhaps on Saturday. Usually I'll try to make time to do these things. Usually around the Christmas time I kind of get it going. Hi Toxica. Hey there, Robbie. Nice to see you guys. And of course today we are talking about the Tropical Vedic Big Three. This is the Big Three that was sort of, not discovered or created, but kind of coined by Corey Dowds. He's at least the first guy that I've seen talk about it in this way. In Western astrology, we have the fad Big Three. We've got rising sign, sun sign, moon sign. And this is our own little Tropical Vedic fad. It is still just, these three are an arbitrary choice by Corey. And I think it's a great arbitrary choice. But, when I do astrology charts for people, I look at everything. I don't just look at these three. There's lots missing. Talking about the biggest yogas in a person's chart, the Shad Bala. There's still lots to talk about. Hello there, Freya. Nice to see you. So there is so much to an astrology chart, so much to an astrology reading. But these big three are a cool one. It's a cool window into a real key gut core of a person's astrology chart. Now, if you guys have been seeing, I've been doing these videos on my YouTube channel. I've been making tiny little YouTube shorts. In case anybody has been curious about what those are all about, I've been doing them. It's a way for me to promote my email list. What I do is I get you to read through the description. I get you to read through my free ebook by joining my email list. Then you get my ebook. And then by reading the ebook, you tell me a certain question. Basically, what is the instrument that the main character plays in that book, in that ebook? Once you've read that, then I will give you a free Tropical Vedic Big Three video that you can put on your social media, you can put it on your TikTok, etc. Hello there, Shira. And hello there, St. Teresa Taylor. Nice to see you. So, if you want to have a tiny Tropical Vedic Big Three video, check out the shorts that I've been putting out. Now today we're going to be doing full readings, full chart readings for those who are here and who are watching. It'll be, if you get chosen, then I'm going to try to go for about half an hour, 35 minutes. And that will be a discussion on your chart. I'm going to try to squeeze in as much as I can during this session today. Now, some of you, I often have people who are just hanging out, and then I often have people who are joining in, who are looking to have their chart read. So if you're looking to have your chart read, I've decided today I'm going to do what I've been doing. And then on Saturday, we're going to have a YouTube membership video. Namaskaram, Sumpira. Now, Shira has asked, in your observation, which nakshatra is most revengeful? That would probably be Jesta. Jesta nakshatra is probably the most capable, the one that I would suspect most wanting to go down that kind of road. In the Taittiriya Brahmana Sutra of Jesta, the sutra for Jesta actually talks about counterattacks. Jesta wants someone to attack them so that they can see, they can almost, it's like when martial artists They're like playing this chess game with each other where neither of them want to attack first. As soon as you attack first, the enemy can reflect perfectly on your approach. So Jest almost wants people to approach them and attack them. So that would probably be the best answer for that, Shira. The nakshatras are very interesting, very important, very special. They're a key dimension of Vedic astrology. That's why we have it as one of our Tropical Vedic big three positions. When we do the Tropical Vedic big three, we discuss the Atmakaraka, the Swamsha, and the moon's nakshatra. The Atmakaraka is the planet with the highest degrees in the chart. You take the Atmakaraka, you put it, no problem, Shira. You take the Atmakaraka and you put it into the Navamsha chart, and that's what gives you the Swamsha. These two are really among the deepest pictures of the true essence and nature of each individual. And you can spend a lot of time talking about each of these. With the Atmakaraka, it's very important to look at the planets that are falling in the signs ruled by the Atmakaraka. Hello there, Izzy. Nice to see you. So we're going to discuss all this stuff, and we're going to start digging into it now that we're starting to get into our video today. So we already got some folks hanging out. It's nice to see you all here. Now, today on this Thursday, I've decided I'm going to try this. We did it the other day and it worked out. And there's going to come a point where I'm not going to be able to do this anymore because there's going to be too many people. So it is what it is. I was intending to do something and I didn't get around to it. What we're going to do today, ladies and gentlemen, is we are going to be inviting people. I'm going to be inviting people to my email list. Now, you guys might have seen me do this the other day. This is kind of how I've been operating my channel lately. And like I said, I'm doing it now while I still have the chance, because there's going to come a time where this is going to be more difficult to do. So once I get this thing going on here, here's how it's going to work, folks, is I'm going to get you guys to join my email list. And it's the people who join my email list who are going to get a chance at a reading today. And I know that many of you have already joined my email list, so this is an email list only session today. So if you have joined my email list, I can see some people already have. I can see St. Therese Taylor has joined. And so for anybody who's interested in getting a reading today, I'm going to need to see that you are on my email list. So if you're watching, in order to join my email list, you can check out my website. What you're going to do is you're going to go to Google. You're going to go to Dustin Cormier Official in Google, and that brings you to my website. You go down, and then you'll find a little section that says subscribe to my email list. You can click here, and this will bring you to this tiny little blue box, and that's where you're going to put in your email and then hit subscribe. And then once you've joined and you've subscribed, I'm going to see you in my email list. Now, many of you are already here, and you've been here for a little while already. So Toxica, you're already here. I know I've seen your email. So far I know that I have Toxica. And I also have Shira. Yes, very good. Very nice to see you guys here. So I have Toxica, Shira, and I have, good morning, Monica. How are you, my dear? I hope that you're well. Who else did I have here? St. Therese. And also Michael. Michael Angel, nice to see you, my friend. I would also consider you on my email list as well. And Monica, if you feel like a reading as well, I'm going to also include you. Yes. So, it's nice to have you all here. Monica, you often just come in to say hello. Let me know if... yeah, I'm doing very good, Monica. I'm going to be doing readings today, Monica, and if you want to be a part of it, feel free to let me know. Of course, I'm doing our Tropical Vedic Big 3 today. Robbie says it's early. Do you mean like 10 in the morning early? You mean like earlier than we usually do these? I've been trying to do them at 10 in the morning rather than 11. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing readings today, and I don't want to take too long without any further ado. Yes, in the West Coast. Izzy. Looks like Izzy has just joined in. Congratulations, Izzy. We're very happy to have you. It looks like we've had a few people. Now, do me a favor, Izzy. For those who have joined... Okay, all right, Monica. Hey, Brutus. Nice to see you. So, Izzy, do me a favor. For those who have joined, if you feel like letting me know on the screen, you can say, this is my email. But it's not going to allow us to share emails in the YouTube Live. So, if you have joined, either give me some kind of clue as to your email, or you can email me at astrology@dustincormier.com. And then email me there and say, hi, this is my name on YouTube. That's how we need to do it, so that way I can see that you have joined. Because Izzy, you've mentioned that you've joined, but I just don't know what your email is. That's all. So thank you very much to everybody here. I can already see that I've already had a few people just join recently. So again, everybody, you can see my email address is, let's see, I think I got it here. astrology@dustincormier.com. You can see it down here. Feel free to email me at astrology@dustincormier.com. And it's there, unless you already know, Toxica, Shira, St. Therese, I know you're here, Michelangel, I know that you guys are on the list. But for anybody else who's just recently joining and wants to be a part of our videos today and wants to get a chance at a reading, feel free to email me there. That way I can tell what your email is. No worries, Shira. So, let me know how that goes when you... noise. Hello there, Nior. Welcome. It's nice to have you here. So, Nior, I'm going to let you know how to join today. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to Google. You type in Dustin Cormier Official into your Google. And once you type Dustin Cormier Official into Google, you're going to find my website. You're going to go down my website and subscribe to my email list. It's free to join, and it allows you to know when I'm going to be producing my new novels, as well as producing all the new works that I do in my work. You put in your email, you hit subscribe, and that way you will have joined my email list. Now, once you've joined my email list on my website, let me know. Just you can type in the chat and let me know what your email is. You can do it either by giving me a little clue on the YouTube chat, or you can send me an email at astrology@dustincormier.com. That way I'll know for sure that you've joined and that you've subscribed. Right? So far it looks like we got some people joining us. And it's a pleasure to be connected to all of you here. So, our friend Sampira. So, Sampira is here. Now, Sampira, I've got you on the list. Let me know on YouTube. Just feel free to say hello if you can, just so I know that you're here and that you're present and live with us. Hello there, Carol. It's a pleasure to have you here. So we've also got a few people here. Thank you to Lovebug. And thank you, Michaela, on YouTube. So, Izzy, thank you very much, Izzy. So, Izzy, I wonder, let me know, Izzy, what is your name? Okay, whatever. I know Izzy's here. Oh, and there's Sampira. Okay, Izzy, I got you on the list. And we also have, so we have Sampira, we have Michaela, we have somebody named Carol. Now, do me a favor, Carol, if you're watching live, feel free to say a little something on the YouTube chat, just so I know that you are live here with us. I usually prefer to do these with people who are live. Ah, there's Lovebug. Thank you, Izzy. Okay, so I got Michaela. I got Sampira. Now, there's somebody here named Carol. Let me know, Carol, if you're what your email is and what your name is on YouTube. That way I can connect with you here more clearly. Obviously, Carol must be live here, so we'll just include Carol. You know, we should, because this is really what I'm doing here, is once somebody has joined in, I would consider them to be a part of the fun. Hello there, Nior. It looks like I've got your email as well. Now, Nior, I don't see you in... Let me just check here. Right, so Nior, remember that we're looking to get people... There's Carol. Thank you, Carol. Thank you very much, Carol. Now, hello there, Rishab. Now, Nior, my friend, I see that you sent me an email, but it doesn't look like you've joined the subscription. So remember, everybody, what we're looking to do here is we're getting folks to subscribe to my email list. So again, what you want to do is you go to Google, you look up Dustin Cormier Official, you go into my official website, you're going to subscribe to my email list once you come down and you click here. And then you're going to subscribe into this little blue box. By putting your email into this little blue box, you say "Ce n'est pas un robot," and then you subscribe. Now, what this does is it allows you to join my email list and to see whenever I've got anything going on. I'm going to be putting out some poetry books soon, some books about astrology, and lots of stuff coming in the future. So this is why I'm getting people to join my list here. So do me a favor, Nior, once I see you are on the list, then I'll be able to include you for a reading here. But it looks like we got lots of people already. So we have, currently in the listing, we have Toxica, Shira, Saint Therese, Michaelangel, Sampira, Michaela, Izzy, and Carol. That is correct, Robbie. Thank you very much for... Robbie's always on my team, keeping things going here for me. Yes, I will be releasing soon a Tropical Vedic Astrology book, and I'm very excited for it. Now, the one person that I don't see in here is Michaela. Now, Michaela, if you're watching live, I want you to know that I'm always looking to be doing these readings for people who are live here with me. So, Michaela, do me a favor, see if you can chat with me in the YouTube chat. If not, I'm going to try to keep the reading today to people who are here with us live. There's Michaela. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, Michaela, for saying hello. Now, the only person that I am missing right now is Nior. I don't have Nior yet. I'm going to give Nior just one more moment to see if they can connect. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to pick our first reading of the day. We're about 20 minutes in. That's not too bad. So, for everybody who is here, we can't take too long because everybody wants us to be doing our thing. Hello there, P. Coomer. Nice to see you, my friend. And I'm glad to see that everybody is excited and ready to rock and roll and ready to do our thing here. Now, Nior, I'm not sure. It's looking like you haven't quite joined yet. So what I might have to do, Nior, if you want to join in, I can see that you've emailed me. Now we're gonna have to move on and pick a person here. So Nior, my friend, I'm gonna show again at some point the process to join in for the reading today. Once I do, you'll be able to see, and you might get another chance. Oh, looks like we also have Rishi, GNR3 here. So somebody named Rishi has just joined. If you feel like being a part of the reading, Rishi, feel free to let me know in the YouTube comments. But I digress. We are about to begin our free reading for the day. So everybody who has just put their email in, if you haven't mentioned yourself on YouTube, that's Nior. You're Rishi. Okay. Because Nior, I also have an email from you that is actually called Nior. So you're Rishi. Okay. If anyone else is named Rishi, say it now. But if Nior, if that is your email, okay. It looks like that's what's going on. Okay, Nior, I got you. All right, folks. So Nior, you are now in, my friend. Good. So now it looks like we have everybody all together here. Hello there, Emma. Nice to see you. So we are about to do our first reading of the day. So far, we have Toxica, Shira, St. Therese, Michaelangel, Sumpira, Michaela, Izzy, Carol, and Nior. It's nice to have you all here. So we are now going to choose our first victim of the day. And remember, when we do these astrology videos, it can be an intense thing to be looking so deeply into another person's life, into their energy field. In this public forum, it can be very deep to go into these astrology readings. Now, I'm going to finish this, but let's make sure Amma knows that she can join. So, Amma, it's nice to see you. For anybody who has just joined, I'm going to say a little explanation, and I'm going to give everybody one last chance to join in. So, Amma Krellin, if you'd like to join, I'm not sure. I feel like I've already gotten your email, but what you want to do is you're going to go to Google. See, this is my Google, right? So what you want to do is you go into your Google search bar and you type in Dustin Cormier Official. And this brings you to my website. Should pop up as the first thing, dustincormier.com. Then what you do is you subscribe to my email list by clicking here on this blue button. This will bring you to another page with this little blue box. You type in your email into the little blue box that says subscribe. You say "Ce n'est pas un robot," and then you hit subscribe, and that will add you to my email list of subscribers. And from there, I will be able to know that you've subscribed to my email list. One of the reasons I'm doing these videos is to promote my email list. Yes, you already subscribed. Okay, good. That was just a check for anybody else. So, Amma, I got you, my dear. I do remember you. So, Amma, you are on the list, my friend, and it's a pleasure to have you joining us today. So, everybody, to give it short thrift, we are about to choose our next contestant, our next victim. And remember, when we do these videos, we only need to go as deep as you need to go. I've got a lot of Pluto, a lot of Scorpio in my chart, and I tend to go deep. Now, if I talk about anything that you don't want to talk about, you can literally just say, I don't want to go there on this. Or if you just don't say anything, I'm not going to hang too long on anything that's too heavy here in this public forum. We're mostly here to exercise our passion for astrology, and for consciousness, and for psychological holistic wellness. That being said, our intention is not to drag your skeletons out of the closet, but we might accidentally knock some bones around. If that is the case, if you feel that's that way, you can either say, I don't feel comfortable with this, or if, I'm not going to hang too long on it, like I said, right? So keep that in mind when we're doing a session like this, right? This is the kind of stuff that does tend to happen. That being said, anything that you can type to say, I agree with this, I don't agree with this, it helps us to unfurl our passion for astrology. Now, without further ado, folks, you've all been patient. We have our list here. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to pick a number. Let's say my number today, I usually like picking funky ones. I'm going to mix up. I'm going to go with like 34, which adds up to 7. I'm going to start at the bottom of the list. I'm going to work my way up and down and up and down and up and down. Starting with the bottom. I'm counting to 34, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. I have now landed on Michael Angel. Michael Angel, you are our first victim of the day. Congratulations. That is Michael Angel. Pew, pew, pew. Let the fireworks fly. Congratulations. The time has come, Michael Angel, my friend, for you to be our first victim of the day. Now, I'm going to try and squeeze these videos into half an hour, 35 minutes each, so that as many people as possible can get a chance. But it usually pours over. It can be tricky to squeeze it all into one place. Michael Angel, you've been following me for a bit. I'm not sure if I've done a reading for you yet. If I have, it's okay, because we're doing we're doing a new type of video now with the Tropical Vedic Big 3. Either way, it's nice to be here with you, Michael. Now, for everybody watching, keep in mind this is going to be about 40 minutes or so, and then I'm going to do a bathroom break, and then we're going to have another opportunity for everyone who's joined on the email list to have a free reading for today. So, Michael, my friend, let me know your put in your birth information. Cool, Michael. All right, my friend. Like many of us, you are on the side of healing, and I'm very glad to hear that. This is your first time, so you've got the right attitude, Michael. I'm very happy to have you here. So, Michael, let me know your birth information. What we require to do the best astrology is to have your birth date, your birth place, and your birth time, if you have it. As close as you have it, as close as you can get it. Awesome. Okay, looks like you know what this is all about. We have somebody in the year of the ox. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, Michael. You have asked for it, my friend. Michael is born. Let me get my chat up here so I can just look right on my YouTube chat. All right, so we've got January 29th, 1986 at 4:20 in the morning. Michael is a male. Now let me know, Michael, if you are... Thank you. I'm ready. So my sun sign, Michael, is Scorpio. I'm a Leo rising, and I have the Sun, Mars, and Pluto all conjunct within 5 degrees of Scorpio. Guatemala City. Guatemala. Guatemala City, Guatemala. Okay, January 29th, 1986, 4:20 in the morning. Now let me know, Michael. It's something that I commonly ask. I have plenty of people. I'm an ally for the LGBTQ plus movement. I'm somebody who's bisexual myself, although I lean more towards women lately in my life. You are a boy, and let me know if you identify as somebody who is, a heterosexual person, or if you're somebody who's bisexual. These things can give us a little bit more clarity when we're working with things. Your 8th house is Leo, so this should bring out what is needed. Well, we are going to see. So you are a Capricorn rising, and obviously you're used to working with your Capricorn rising. Very nice Mars in this chart. It's with K2 in Scorpio in its own sign. It's the Atmakaraka. Wow. Very interesting. So Mars is the Atmakaraka. It's with Pluto and K2 in its own sign of Scorpio. And that puts Mars in the Svamsha of Pisces. That's a pretty interesting, powerful, load-bearing wall happening with that Mars. Very cool. I just want to take a peek at the Shadbala. The Sun is a little bit tricky in this chart, but the Mars in this chart is just blistering with energy. Crazy. Crazy. That's one of the strongest Marses I've ever seen. This is the strongest Mars I've ever seen in a chart, which is nice because it's your Atmakaraka. The Sun and Jupiter and Venus are a little bit lacking in this chart. The Sun and Jupiter can make it a little bit tricky, especially for a Capricorn rising. Okay, Michael, can we replay this live? Yes, you can. Yeah, so Michael is heterosexual. Can we replay this live? Shira, you will be able to replay what we do here in these videos. You can always replay them live, or you'll be able to watch the video later. I usually keep the video on for a week or two, and then I eventually take it off. Now, my instinct is telling me, because I've been drinking lots of smoothies lately, let's do a quick pee break, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to start my timer, and then we're going to be rocking and rolling. So I can see you guys in just 1 second. Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to the day of your demise. Now, let us get started and rock and roll today, ladies and gentlemen. Now remember, we are focusing today on the Tropical Vedic Big Three. That is our main theme happening in today's chart, in today's readings. Now, the Tropical Vedic Big Three was sort of inspired by my friend Corey Dowds here. Corey Dowds, by the way, he's a wonderful Tropical Vedic astrologer like me. He's in the same tradition as I am, same sort of teachers, although he has his own teachers and lineage. And he's recently coming out with a book that talks about the moon's nakshatras, the nakshatras in particular, which is part of our third dimension of the reading today. So check him out and check his book out. I haven't read it myself yet, but I'm going to be checking it out myself. Today is one of my lucky days. He was born on the 29th, which adds to 11. Today is the 11th. Neptune has finally gone direct along with Saturn. Happy Thursday, everyone. Beautiful. So, Michael, today is your lucky day. Now, I'm going to hit an alarm on here, and I'm going to set my alarm for 30 minutes. And we'll probably go a little bit over 30 minutes. I'm going to do my best to squeeze it in. Because remember, I'm going to try to... 1 house. 9. Lagna. Not sure what you mean there, P. Coomer. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean there, P. Coomer, but let me know if you can clarify your question, and I'll do my best to answer. But for now, let's focus on, we're going to focus today, for the moment, on Michael. I've got a half an hour timer. I'm going to see if I can keep it. You know, I'll usually go for 5 minutes after the timer, because we're going to try to get in as many people as we can today, right? So, Michael, my friend, we have now started your timer. So, let us now take a good deep peek at Michael's chart. One of the key things that I saw happening, what's happening with Jupiter and Saturn here? Saturn is getting squashed by the moon somehow. Yeah. So Saturn is in a bit of an aspect to the moon. We have, so the big thing going on, and this relates very strongly to our theme today of the Tropical Vedic Big Three, is what's happening with Mars. Now, I'm just peeking around at all the things that I can in this chart. We have Ketu in Scorpio, Rahu in Taurus, which means Venus is going to be important. And Venus is pretty happy outside the fact that it is very much combusted by the sun. We have Mercury and Venus are very much combust. Now, Jupiter is not combust. Okay, I see what's going on. My software wasn't sure if Jupiter's combust or not. So this Jupiter's actually got a plus from the sun. But Jupiter is being starved by Mercury and Venus, its two main enemies. And it has a little bit of weak Shadbala overall, this Jupiter. So Jupiter's kind of hurting. That is going to put a damper on this person's overall capacity to do the masculine energy of the Sun, Jupiter, and Mars. Mars probably helps with the masculine energy here and having drive to do what you need to do. But we certainly see a theme in this chart of the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter are all kind of a little bit dwindling in total Shadbala. Now, this is worth mentioning for everybody. You know, Shadbala is like your overall planetary report card, and there are groupings for each of the planets. Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter are all considered to be one group. In this chart in particular, there's a signification that Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter are a little bit gummed. The karma of this person has put them into the constant, a sort of debilitation of the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter, and this can lead to a little bit less inspiration. It can probably be difficult, Michael, for you to feel inspired, to feel like you've got something dragging you forward and moving you forward. And this inspiration is important for anyone when they're trying to do things in their career, when they're trying to create important things in their lives, depending on things. Now, that is something worth mentioning in this chart. What's nice is that Mars, you know what, my dumbass, I've been looking at this one report card thing and I thought it was Mars. It's actually the moon. And I'm so sorry for the confusion there, Michael. Mars is okay in this chart, but the real big kicker happening in this chart is the moon. The moon has several significations of having a lot of strength in this chart. And that's a nice thing. The moon here in the 9th house in Virgo, it's the 7th sign of Capricorn. So this is a very moon-driven person. You know, I often tell people, like, when I do astrology, I am very Saturnian. I'm often looking at the deep things that a person needs in order to survive. I look at the critical aspects of their chart. I'm on YouTube all the time as the social person. My Saturn's in Aquarius. Saturn is my strongest Shadbala planet. So I got Saturn coming out of my ears. This is a person with a similar insane amount of moon energy. For you, Michael, you have the moon very deeply and strongly coming through in your chart, and the moon rules your 7th house. For Capricorn, the moon rules the sign of Cancer. So it's probably important for you to deal with business partners, with your intimate understanding of other people, and with love and romance. The moon can get lovesick. This is somebody who lives very deeply for their emotions and their feelings. Now, let's focus for a moment. Let's start here, especially because this is such a moon-driven person. Let's begin by first talking about the Navamsha. So the moon's Navamsha, the moon's Nakshatra. Gotta wake myself up today. The moon's Nakshatra is considered to be one of the Tropical Vedic Big Three. And it is a very important foundation on which every person's personality, every person's career resides. Now, the moon's nakshatra inside of this chart being at 21 degrees of Virgo, we have the moon in Uttara Phalguni. It is very significant to have the moon being the most important planet. There's 3 themes here hitting on the same theme. Number 1, the moon is the most significant planet in this chart. I'm going to move this down a bit. In terms of Shadbala, the moon is the strongest. The moon is something that this person constantly thinks about. That's what Shadbala is. It's loudest inside of this person's psyche. When you have a strong Shadbala planet, it's constantly pouring through you. The moon rules the 7th house. So whatever's going on with the moon is going to be significant to 7th house matters, which relates to marriage, partnership, also business, enjoyment. There's a luxury, there's a kama. There's the enjoyment of sex and sociality and these kinds of things. Now, the moon is in the 9th house, which means the 7th lord is falling in the 9th house. There's significations there of probably marriage, a culture-bound destiny when it comes to enjoying things with a partner. You are somebody who wants to enjoy the rich tapestries of culture with your partner. And it falls into the moon falls into the nakshatra of Uttara Phalguni. Uttara Phalguni. This is continuing with this theme. Because remember, there's 27 nakshatras, and they all have certain themes. One of the key themes of Uttara Phalguni is to be somebody who is almost like a little bit of a matchmaker. Uttara Phalguni is considered to be the fruit bearer. There is a desire to partner, to be married, to have strong communication, relationship hygiene, and harmony. Fidelity is the word that's given here. Feeling like, instead of having some secret love that you text, you only see her at night, and you go and you see her, and you guys have a courtship at night, and then during the day, you've got a different lover and they've got a different lover. Or if you see a lover at night and then you don't get to walk around with her, during the day, that's not what Uttara Phalguni wants. Uttara Phalguni doesn't just want the quiet connection. And they want, this is the area of the nakshatras that represents in a lot of ways the essence of marriage and romance. This is actually a moon which can be weak with things that require self-sufficiency and independence. So Uttara Phalguni actually can feel a little bit tough and awkward when it comes to doing things through self-sufficiency and independence. Uttara Falguni is this type of nakshatra. I've done a video on Uttara Falguni if you want to learn a bit more about it. Again, the nakshatra is very important. That's why I put so much emphasis on it in these videos. So this is a person who's there's a love orientation towards this person for sure. Hello there, Sun Soul Tarot. Nice to see you. Now, the softer and feminine planets do particularly well in this nakshatra, the moon included. So the moon in this nakshatra does okay. And Uttara Falguni is very interested in an ideal woman. Uttara Falguni is somebody who is a lovebird. That's really just the best way to put it. They are somebody who thinks very deeply. They're in their head. They're in their mind. They create a story, a narrative. They are very interested in all of these sort of accoutrements of falling in love with somebody. Now, I just want to do a quick read to see what we can expect from the native in another one of my books here. When it comes to the Uttara Falguni native, overall, this nakshatra, along with Purva Falguni, is kind of the marriage bed of the zodiac. There is a grand destiny often tied to a personal relationship, sort of like a marriage, or possibly a business partnership. The relationship might involve an outlandish character or someone from a very different background. And you might be put through a battery of tests to prove your worthiness. Your parents might not enjoy your taste in lovers. And especially because the seventh lord, the moon, is in the ninth house. There's this real, again, it's a marriage. It's the typical view of combining your dowry, your family wealth, with another person, with a different culture, or possibly your own culture. Either way, all of these sort of traditionalist mergings are a key theme in this chart, and probably an important dimension of happiness. So keep this in mind as somebody who is this love type. Now, it's going to make doubly important the fact that you've got Ketu in Scorpio and Rahu in the sign of Taurus. With Rahu in Taurus, this theme of desiring to have a deep, stable relationship with somebody else is emphasized. Now, it's likely that Ketu is going to be operating until the age of 36, until eventually Rahu comes to the fore. Now, really, you just are going through a huge change right now, Michael, because according to my significations, you are just coming into the Jupiter Mahadasha. In December 20th, 2023, you came into Jupiter Mahadasha. And that was when you were 37 years old. So let's just do a quick rehashing and remembering for everybody here. Usually from age 0 to age 36, we operate unconsciously through Ketu, through the south node. Everybody operates very unconsciously through Ketu in a state of unmastery. We think we've mastered it, but it's smoky. And we operate very strongly from that place. In your case, we've got Scorpio, we've got Mars, and we've got Ketu and Pluto all operating in this very compulsive desire way to probably prove yourself worthy, to make yourself feel like you are worthwhile, defeating your own demons from within yourself, and living very deeply and internally. This is somebody who has always probably lived with almost like a chip on their shoulder, trying to prove themselves. And they actually want, it's very possible that your childhood with Ketu in Scorpio, your childhood might have pressed you to be someone who had to use your strength, who had to use your boundaries, who had to use Mars, the blade, to say, I'm strong, I'm capable, I'm this person. Because this is a lot of Scorpio, Pluto, K2 in Pluto, and Scorpio energy. K2, Pluto, Mars, all in the sign of Scorpio. Really has the signification that there's a lot of karma to deal with related to Mars, which is the Atmakarika. It's worth me taking a quick spin here through my Decoding Zodiac book. So what we see with this theme, when Rahu is in Scorpio, when Rahu is in Taurus, the main theme here is about, first I want to say, and this is worth mentioning, remember the earth and water signs go down with gravity. Air and fire goes up with gravity. Most people who have Rahu and Ketu and fire and air signs, they usually tend to be all about their action. It's all about what they do. With water and earth, the nodes are going down. The nodes are yin. And so this is a more focus on earth and water, moon's nodes, is that you're not working through what you do, you're working through what you have, which is relationships, material desires. There's probably a very strong desire for this person because you live very deeply in the Scorpio water. Fixed water runs deep. That's what they say about Scorpio. This is an icy fixation on trying to appear powerful, trying to appear like you've got your security together. And yeah, I appreciate you being real with me with what you're saying, Michael, that you have deep anger. This deep anger, there's a lot of significations with Pluto, K2, and Mars here. There's a lot of significations that there might be a lot of anger that's based on a sort of insecurity. Particularly because the sun is a little bit lacking in this chart as well. There might be a feeling that you're not as strong a man as some of the people that you've experienced in your life, although male archetypes of strength and discipline are a little bit blown out of proportion these days. You can be loved for many things. You can be loved for the way that you hold your coffee. Women don't just seek masculinity in men, especially in today's time. Maybe, 50,000 years ago, guys like you and me, I've got the sun with 75% shad bala, just like you do. And maybe it's possible 50,000 years ago, the big ape-like men with the big chest might be able to make a show of male force, and that would have attracted women in order to progenerate strong men that could continue survival for our procreative ancestors. In today's time, it's not enough for a man to have a big chest and go, whoa, and make the biggest noise. Women now care about our hearts. Women care about everything that we are. And everything that you are is a part of what you use to be loved, including your shadow. Whatever you feel is lacking inside you is actually something that somebody can love. But you have to get into shadow work. You have to be able to speak to the fact that I have these insecurities. And when you're in a relationship, if you can, it's a powerful thing. If a woman has water signs going on for her, she's probably got ways that she would like to help sublimate and work through her own water energy, as well as the water energy of another person. Now, because you've got such a strong moon, I believe that you're capable of wielding this vulnerability with another partner. Because ultimately, you're always going to be kind of going through this sort of possible feeling of insecurity. But something that is going to help you ground that feeling is Rahu in Taurus. Now, you're about 30, you're probably about 39 years old. Is that right? 38. You're probably turning 40 in December. I'm just going based on my Mahadasha thing here. So you are in your late 30s, which means that you have gone through the age of 36 now. At age 36 is when the North Node begins to pop open, which might be one of the reasons why you're feeling rather insecure. The North Node matures at age 43. And leading up to that, there's a feeling where we've been running this race for about 40 years, and we get this thing in our head that, oh, I guess I never thought about the fact that I'm going to die someday. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, all of us are going to die someday. My name is Pluto. I'm Pluto's Corona, as I like to call myself. Don't forget that you're going to die someday. Which means that the life you're living right now is not just some throwaway, piss away rehearsal. This is not a rehearsal. This is our life, as Gord Downey once said. Which means that when we get into our mid-30s, we begin to narrow ourselves down to like, what the fuck am I actually doing here with my life? And it's very important to think about it in terms of, on January 29th, you'll be 40. It's very important to think about it in terms of everything inside of ourselves, including our capacity to love. Now, in a chart like this, the moon's nodes are really going to put pressure on you to deal with whatever you feel in terms of insecurity. And Rahu is going to launch you into Taurus, which is where the moon is actually exalted. Your Rahu is going to try to actually force you to build a material life that you are satisfied. See, this is what Taurus wants to do. Taurus wants to, it's a material sign. When you have the South Node in a water sign, you're lost in an emotional web of psychic past life energy and childhood energy, and you're always trying to defeat it, work through it, especially because you got a good Mars in Scorpio. So there's a lot of hope for you dealing with inner work, energy work. But at some level, no matter how controlled you are in your inner consciousness, Taurus, which is where the moon is exalted, Rahu in Taurus is going to now start to draw you, because you've come into this world through the past lives of Scorpio, especially with Pluto there. You've come into this world with past lives in Scorpio, the water sign, the fixed water sign. And now, because Rahu represents what's so foreign to you, it's going to be delicious when you start to get the feeling of, what is it like when I have a life that is stable enough to make time to experience the joy of the simple happiness of hanging out with friends and hanging out with lovers. Taurus is fixed earth. Now you're developing solid relationships. If you want to develop a solid relationship with a person, you have to have a job that gives you the time and the strength and the energy to do whatever you do at your job, come home and share some of your time with a partner and to make it meaningful. You want to dream a romantic relationship kind of thing and then enter into it in a true physical embodied way through Taurus. Now, you might feel a million things about what makes you insecure, about what happened to you in childhood that makes that impossible. But ultimately, this is something that is very within your grasp, especially because of the way your moon is. This is something that's very much in your wheelhouse, Michael. And I see it being important for you. I see it being important for you to feel like you've worked through whatever insecurities relate to you through the opposite gender, through the opposite sex. And not just that, but to harmonize the male and female polarities inside your own brain. One thing that might help you do this is to do some sun mantra. This is something I do quite a bit. I have to, because I lack the sun in my chart. So it might be useful for you as well, especially because you've got a stellium in the second house of Aquarius. It might do you well to start using some kind of mantras to glue you to a single pointed focus on what it is you're doing in your life. Especially with Rahu and Taurus right now. It's interesting because you're in the Jupiter Mahadasha, which is also another main focus for you. I would even consider that, really, I would say that you're probably putting yourself more into a place of thinking about a marriage. So you lost your mom at 11, and she was abusive, and you never met your father. So, Michael, you have to really think about, for most people, mother is the primary archetype of a safe, nurturing, feminine principle. And the father is the primary archetypal model of a safe, but yet still disciplined and firm father figure. Now, since you didn't have those while you were younger, as many people don't, this is something I'm seeing more and more of all the time these days. I'm very lucky even that I got the parents that I did, but my parents split up, and I have a bit of my own father wounding as well. So it's a very common thing. What this means is that it might do well for you to think about the feminine and masculine principle inside yourself and how you can harmonize them. A lot of people would go to therapy for this sort of thing. Especially, Michael, you've got a lot riding on romance. You've got a lot riding on working out, because really for you, what probably deeply moves you at a deeply compulsive level is Scorpio's desire in the 11th house to prove to myself that I'm something, that I've got something happening. Especially because, it's interesting that for Capricorn rising, Mars rules the 4th house and the 11th house. And you have Mars in that 11th house. There's sort of a signification here that the 4th house being funneled into the 11th house, there's a desire to show my ancestors and my ancestry that I am worth something, that I have some kind of value. You need to get married, but you're horrible with relationships. This is something you need to work on, Michael. The ironic thing is that Venus has a way of prosperity. You have to think about the fact, you have to do for yourself what women want to be done to them. And what I mean by that is prosperity. They say Venus is like a vehicle, and you have to oil the vehicle. You have to maintain it. You have to take care of it. And in order for you to do that with a woman, you have to do it first for yourself. What do I enjoy doing? What kind of music do I like? What kind of movies do I like? What kind of food do I like? Food in particular. The best thing to do to start getting a grip on Venus is to start doing like a grace. When you're going to go and have a meal, you think, I want to eat something that's going to nourish my body, that's going to taste good, that's going to nourish my spirit. Because food is something, it's perfectly Venus if you understand it. Because we eat each other in relationships. Venus relates to the sense of taste, of water. Every moment that we have where we go on a date with a woman or a man, we spend this money to be with this person, and it's like one of those Buddhist pictures made of sand. You spend all this time making this beautiful moment. You're holding your shoulders back. You're letting that person be what they want to be, and they're letting you be what you want to be. And you come together, and there's a magic that makes 1 + 1 = 3, and there's a beautiful picture. And it's just like making food. You spend all this time making this delicious meal, and then what happens? You eat it, and it turns to shit, and it goes away. But the memory remains. The feeling that I fed myself, the feeling that I nurtured my soul, even knowing that it's going to go away, that it's going to disappear. This is what love is. When we have children, we put all of this energy and time into our child, and then it disappears and goes away. Hello, Lamar. We're almost done. We've got about 5 more minutes, and then we're going to be doing another reading today. So, Michael, this is important in terms of developing this Venus for yourself first. And the moon in you is not stupid. The moon in you knows what you've got to do for you. And it has the ability. Your moon is what makes me know that you are capable of doing what this thing that you have to do. But you have a lot of insecurity, a lot of Mars stuff that you've got to move through. And the thing is that because Ketu and Pluto and Mars are all in the 11th house, especially because Mars rules the 4th house, you're going to try to prove to your ancestors and to your family line and to your bloodline that you are something, that you've got some success in the world. That's the 11th house. It's our gains. It's our success. It can actually be a bitch of a house. It's considered to be one of the nasty houses. But if you've got the good things going on there, it's a good way to deal with that nastiness. Everyone's got an 11th house. When there's good things happening there, it mitigates it and actually can be a profound house of Dharma. Now to me, it seems like you've got some Dharma that you want to do. Once you go through this whole creative love affair, because Rahu is in Taurus in the 5th house, and the 5th house relates to love affairs. There's a love affair. There's a soul, the true feeling that there's one person with a barcode, with an item number. There's my phone. There are people in this universe that have soul bondage with you that I think you will do very well to work with to develop your understanding of relationships, relationship hygiene, relationship harmony, to have that love affair. And what you're going to find is that you're going to feel like, no, I've got to be perfect first. I've got to be successful first. That's what K2 thinks it wants to do. K2 always thinks that the more I put myself into what I've always known and what I've always been natural at, what's always been my thing, then I'll eventually work it out. For you, this is just this slinking, under-ebbing, insecure, intense, karmic water energy. Water basically meaning past life energy, like energy field energy. Just sitting and dreaming, going to work at some job and working really hard at it and, really punching whatever it is that you do to do it. And then you get that job done. You lose a lot of energy, possibly being angry, doing whatever you do with your work in order to make something of yourself. And it steams off all of your energy and vitality. What I would really consider doing is getting into therapy for anger, if this isn't something you've done already. And therapy for what happened in your childhood that has stopped you from feeling natural about expressing your own gender and the gender of other people and finding harmony between those two. Because what's going to happen to you in your life, my friend, is that life is going to funnel you into some more of this romantic Taurus energy. You're going to have a reason to have a material life. You're going to be excited to go to your job. That's the main thing that's being conveyed here. You want to be excited about going to your job. And then eventually this will bring you back to now you can actually deal with your insecurity. Now you can actually deal with the 11th house. Now you can actually do the things, do the Dharma, make what you want in your personal desires real. But before you can make your desires and your ambitions real and prove yourself to the world in the way that you think you have to do, you have to enter Rahu, which is a part of the chart where there's very few planets for you. You have to enter Taurus and think about how you can be happy on planet Earth. Taurus is about your happiness, your prosperity, your feeling that you belong here. That is what needs to be done. And that will come to you if you manifest it, if you consciously manifest it. Now, the last thing I'll say is that our friend Michael here is Mars Atmakaraka with Pisces Swamsha. Pisces is where Venus is exalted, but it's where Mercury is debilitated. Throughout your life, you want to be conscious of your Mercury and what's going on there. What's nice is I see in this chart, Venus is a little bit gummed up, but it's not that bad. Venus can do what Venus needs to do in this chart, basically. And plus you got a good moon that helps with a bit of this lunar, emotional, romantic energy. But really, you are a spiritual person. Being a Pisces Swamsha, while you've got all this stuff in the water signs, it shows that in time, Especially, let me just check one more peek here. Yeah, Saturn and Uranus in the 12th house. There will probably be a time in your life where it's important for you to do some spiritual work. 12th house stuff. So this is like yoga, energy work, breath practice, and finding and surrendering to something that makes your life worth living. That's really what Pisces Swamsha is all about, is finding something that is based on love. And it's not just, relationship love, having a love affair. That 5th house stuff is one portal, one channel of love. It's the lower octave of love. But there's going to come a point where you just want to give. You're a soft-shelled person who's deeply sensitive, who wants to give to the world, who wants to share your worthiness and value by surrendering and sacrificing for something that's bigger than yourself. And we all have to remember, everybody, I'm going to say this, I say it all the time, it's such a very important phrase. God, or the cosmos, the universe, the cosmos, the creation, the oneness that we all are. God does not want us to suffer. It wants us to sacrifice. Do you see the difference? Suffering means that you are a bird who's trying to swim or a fish who's trying to fly. God didn't make things that way. God wants us to be in our own nature, to be happy with what we are, with what we've been intrinsically born into, for a good reason. All the things that we've gone through, everyone's got suffering and shadows somewhere. And whatever it is, God doesn't want you to suffer. He wants you to find balance inside your own nature so you can sacrifice. Because spirituality is like a fire, and fire requires wood. We need to be strong in our roots in order to produce our spiritual fruits. For someone who's Pisces Swamsha, you want to produce spiritual fruits for the world, but you can't neglect yourself in that process. It's like the Buddha said, if you want to help people, help yourself first. Radiate the connection to the cosmos from your roots. That way you'll provide an exemplar for other people to do the same. And that's the best thing we can do for the world. So don't be afraid to find your happiness, and don't neglect yourself, because there's going to be a key aspect of you finding the peace that you seek. So I feel pretty good about that. I feel like we've really run through things here for our friend Michael. Now, Michael, I hope that was okay for you. For everybody who's watching, we're about to come into our next reading. So, Michael, let me know how that felt for you, if you're still here with us. Let me know if that resonated with you. I hope it did. I hope it was what you were looking for. It's tough to do a real full reading and a cold reading for someone within a half an hour. But it was good that we discussed Michael's Mars, Atmakaraka, Pisces Swamsha, and that Uttara Falguni moon, which is such a romantic disposition person. Hello there, Joanne from Stellar Arts Yoga. If you are here with us, I will be able to guide you to being able to get a reading today if you're here watching live. For everybody else who's watching live, this has been our first reading of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Michael, thank you so much for being a part of this with us today. Let's give Michael a nice little golf clap. Yes. Very well done. Excellent job. Yes, that must be my friend who has emailed me here. I'm greatly appreciate it. Much to think about. Awesome, Michael. Awesome, pal. Thank you very much, Michael, for being a good sport. You did a great job, and it can be very tricky to get yourself out there on the line and be vulnerable and to do a reading like this. It can be tough. But Michael, you did it. Thank you for volunteering your birth time so that we could all practice our love for astrology. And thanks to everybody else who's hanging out here and being a part of this with us. So everybody, let's do another reading. Now, we have a few people who have joined us and who are interested in seeing the process here, including healing wisdom arts. Now, for everybody watching, today we are promoting my particular, let's see if I can get this going on here. Yeah, whatever. We are promoting my email list by joining my subscription to my email list. And what that's all about is essentially, I am, of course, a writer, and I write plenty of things that are eventually going to be coming out. I'm doing poetry, I'm writing a novel, and as well, I'm on my way to writing a Tropical Vedic Astrology handbook. Now, when these things start coming out, it's going to be important for me to have an email list of people who can receive the letters that I get saying, I've got this book coming out. I'm not one to bomb you, so don't worry, I'm not gonna bomb you with emails. But when I start putting emails out, you are going to be hearing about them if you've joined my email list. So you can join me at dustincormier.com/subscribe. If you join that email list, I'm going to see your email on my list, which is basically here on MailerLite or whatever this thing's all about. Once I see that your email is here on this email list, and it looks like Stellar Yoga, you are here. And I don't want to show everybody's email here if I can help it. Let's see. Now that was Healing Wisdom Arts. I have you here in the list, and thank you so much for joining us. Now, as well for, I believe we had somebody named Lamar. Lamar, you can feel free to join this way as well. So for everyone who's watching live, we got 16 people watching live. Here's what you want to do. You're going to go to Google. You're going to type in Dustin Cormier Official. As soon as you type in Dustin Cormier Official, you're going to pop up with my website. Should be hopefully the first thing that comes up. You click, and this brings you to the front page. Then you come down, and you'll see subscribe to my email list. It's the first thing that should come up. Press the blue button. This will take you to this page. Then what you do, you put in your email in this tiny little blue box that says subscribe. You say ce n'est pas un robot, and then you hit subscribe. And from there, you will be subscribed. And once you have subscribed, I should be able to see you in my list of people who are in this reading today. Very cool. Yeah, Michael, I'm Virgo Swamsha, which is opposite your Pisces. I love working with Pisces. And I also have Venus and Jupiter there. So anyone with anything going on in Virgo, I always love. Anyone with the moon in Virgo, I love because I've got Jupiter there in Virgo. So, now, let's see here. We got 16 viewers. Now, let's do a little roll call. Who is here and who wants a reading? And for all of you who are here, and if you're listening, I need to do a little roll call. Just say, hi, I'm here. If you're listening, if you're paying attention, say hello. And that way I know that you're still here with us. Okay, Sun Soul Tarot, I'll get you in there as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we've got a few people here. Now I want to make sure that everybody, hey there Toxica, nice to see you. I want to make sure that everybody is still with us here. Now we have Lamar and Access. All right, I gotta just do this here. Michaela, Izzy, Healing Wisdom, Toxica, Sun Soul Tarot, Sean Palak, nice to see you. Sean Palak, I think that I got your... Sean Palak. Okay, so there's a few people here. Sean Palak, as well as Lamar Long and Access. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anybody who are subscribed here. Okay, I got Lamar. Now, as for Sean Pollack and somebody named Axos, it's nice to have you guys here. So, Lamar Long, you're on the list. Now we have two people, Axos as well as Sean Pollack. Now for you guys, remember that we are looking to get people to subscribe to my email list here. That is our main intention today. So what you want to do in order to join my email list, I'm doing this because I'm going to be coming out with some writing, some books, and as well, even I'm going to be eventually doing series on my website that is not available on YouTube, but mostly for the books that I'm going to be producing. I want to have people on my email list. And so that's what we're promoting today. And so that's why I'm looking for people to join my email list. That way you'll get a chance to get a reading today. So you can join it by going to dustincormier.com/subscribe. Or you can follow this path. This is what I've been teaching everybody. What you do is you go to Google, you look up dustincormier.com on Google, Dustin Cormier Official. This should take you to my website. Here, once you're on my website, you go to subscribe to my email list. You click here. You come down, and this brings you to this page. And you'll see subscribe to my email list in the blue box below. It's this little blue box. So you put in your email, you say ce n'est pas un robot, and then you hit subscribe. Once you've done that, your name will appear in my list of email subscribers, in my email list. So, oh, and there's Shira. Thanks, Shira. So for Axis and for Sean Pollack, let me find you guys in my email list, and then that way you guys can join in today for the reading as well. Right? So just making sure that I've got everybody here. Now, so it looks like we have a pretty full team here today. Healing Arts, Sun Soul Tarot, Lamar Long, I gotcha. Sampira, Emma Krellin. Toxica's still here. So we've done Michelangelo. Now there's some people here that I'm not seeing. I see Shira, Toxica, Healing Wisdom. Saint Therese, let me know if you're still here. I can see we've got Michaela. Yep, Michaela's here. Sampira's here. Izzy. Freya, let me know if you're still here, Freya. Nior, let me know if you're still here. These are the four that I'm missing, are Saint Therese, Freya, and Nior. Sorry, I guess that's just three. Saint Therese, Freya, and Nior. Let me know if you guys are here. Shira, I do have you, my dear. I got you locked in. And anybody else who is interested in joining, now is your chance. We have Aza. Okay, and I'm sure I know who that is. So we just had AXHAS. I'm assuming that is just subscribed. Gotcha. Okay, Access, I gotcha. And Nior is also with us. Thank you, Nior. Okay, folks. Looks like we're doing okay now, everybody. Now, the only person I'm missing here is Sean Pollack. Let me know, Sean, if you are interested in still joining in on the session today. But so far, we have a pretty good list here. Now, I'm only missing Freya and Saint Therese. If you guys aren't here, that's okay. Nior, I now do have you on the list. So, thus far on the list, I have Healing Wisdom, Toxica, Shira, Sumpira, Michaela, Izzy, Nior, Amma Krellin, Sun Soul Tarot, Lamar Long, and Aksas. Now let's see if Sean Polak. Looks like we've just had another subscriber. Okay, good. I must have missed you. Okay, so Sean Polak, I do in fact have you, my friend. I'm sorry I didn't see you earlier. Okay, Sean Polak, you're in. Sorry about that, amigo. I'm glad to have you now as a part of our session today. So we have everybody: Nior, Amakrellin, Sun Sol Tarot, Lamar Long, Aksas, and Sean Polak. All right, very good. So we have all the ingredients here, everybody. Now the time has come. We are about to pick our next victim for our astrology session today. Now keep in mind, everybody, as I always like to say, when we do these sessions, we tend to go pretty deep. You know, I'm somebody who is really looking to help people heal, to have self-illumination. Oftentimes I will talk about difficult parts of the chart. When we are doing so, remember that you are under no obligation to say anything, to admit anything you don't want to admit. It's always nice if I have people confirming things, if I have somebody saying, yes, I've been through this, I've been through that, or I haven't done this, no, that feels weird to me, I don't relate with that, file not found, feel free to let us know that as well, because that's going to help us tune in and find out how the astrology matches the territory. Because right here, what we're trying to do is expand our knowledge and passion as astrologers and to help and do a bit of healing and reflecting in the process. That being said, if there's anything you don't want to talk about, you can always just say, I don't want to talk about that, or don't say anything at all, and I'm going to eventually move around. I don't tend to hang on anything that's too heavy. Sometimes I will because I smell that it's important, but if it's something you don't want to talk about, feel free to let me know, because we're in a public forum here. And that being said, if anybody ever doesn't feel good about the reading that I do here, I can always pull it off the channel. This is the nature of a public forum. The nature of doing live streams like this is we're in a very easygoing place discussing heavy stuff. So always keep that in mind. Now, we have enough folks. We got 19 viewers, 18 viewers. It's kind of fluctuating around there, which is always nice to see. I do Thursdays and Saturdays. By the way, everybody, for members of my YouTube channel, I'll be doing readings this Saturday as well. So keep that in mind. I usually like to do them in December, get a few out there just as a customer appreciation, let's call it. So we have our people for today for this next session. Remember, it's going to be about 30 to 35 minutes. Let's get it going. I'm now going to begin at the top this time. And let's say I'm going to pick number 27. No, 28. I'm going to go with 28 to mix it up. Starting at the top of the list, and I'm going to work my way down right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. The person I landed on was none other than Sumpira. I hope I'm saying your name right, Sumpira. Congratulations, Sumpira. It looks like that. Sumpira, you have been chosen. There's Sumpira. Call you Sam. Sam it is, my friend. Thank you, Sam. Congratulations. And thank you for being a part of our reading today. Itzel, my dear, you must have just missed us. Feel free to come back in about a half an hour, probably close to the top of the hour. We're probably going to be doing another one. And it's very nice to see you, Itzel. Now we have a water rooster, My pleasure, Sam. I'm very glad to have you here, pal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug your information in, and then I'm going to probably go for a pee break. So we have November 23rd. Thank you, Mo. Oh, Monica, you're so sweet. So my friend Monica here has given me a little donation. And Monica, I got your earlier donation as well. I should have mentioned it. You're stacking me, Mo, and I really appreciate it very much. Monica's been supporting my channel for a long time, and she's a good friend of mine. So, Sumpira, 23rd of November, 1993, at 6 o'clock in the morning. Baripada, India. Baripada, Orissa. I'm going for Baripada, Orissa in India, Sumpira. Let me know if that's let me know if there's anything off on that. Thank you, Monica, my dear. I appreciate you very, very much. Sumpira, you are about as cuspy as it gets. Ugh, gosh. These nasty, nasty cusps can always be such a big deal. You are 1 minute away from Sagittarius rising. Very good. Izzy, I think I'm probably going to do 3 readings today. I might do 4. I'm going to see how it goes. So we are going to digest that as we go. So, Sumpira, you are on a gnarly cusp. Let me know, Sumpira, do you identify as Scorpio rising or Sagittarius rising? Have you ever done astrology before? Let me know which one of these seems to be closer to what you're working with. Because this is definitely a very cuspy. Yeah, so you're used to doing Scorpio. And that's what I've got here as well. Keep in mind, Sumpira, that, you know, at least in our tradition in Tropical Vedic Astrology, we're big on the whole sign house system. So there's a real big difference between Scorpio rising and Sagittarius rising. And if you've never done any kind of birth rectification, if this is not from a birth certificate, in fact, let me know if it is from a birth certificate or not. If it's from a birth certificate, that helps. Did I get this right? Right at 6 o'clock a.m. So just keep in mind that if you ever wanted a birth, I'll say it this way, if you ever want a birth rectification, I know a lady who does it, and she does pretty good work with it. It can be nice because then you're sure whether you're one rising sign or the other. It's quite a difference, right? I digress. What we're going to do today, that's what your Kundali mentions, is that you're Scorpio. So, Sumpira, you are from India, too. Which means, let me just say this really quickly. Let's remember, for Sam's sake, what's going on here? Whoa. Desktop capture. I've lost all my things. What the heck is happening here? Oh man, that sucks. How did that happen? Host scene. Ah, okay. Got it. Okay. There's that, and there's that. Okay. We're good here. Yeah, so Sam, I'm a Tropical Vedic Astrologer, which means your Kundali that you're used to from India might be a sidereal-based astrology. I'm not sure if you know about that whole difference, but in both systems, whether it's sidereal or tropical, Aviprit Raj Yoga. Okay, I'm going to check that out in just a moment. So you're saying Venus, Jupiter in your 12th house. Right, so that's why what I want to mention is that this isn't a sidereal reading. This is going to be a tropical reading. Since it's tropical, this would put all of those planets, Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, and Pluto, it's technically kind of in the 12th house, but I would put it in the first house. If you're a Scorpio rising, those planets fall in the first house. Remember, this might be a little bit different from your sidereal kundli because this is tropical. It's Western measurements. Okay, it looks like you know what I'm talking about. All right, folks, I'm going to put this chart up, and you guys can digest it for a minute. I'm going to go to the bathroom. When I come back, we're going to start our timer. First tropical reading. Excellent. Well, we're very glad to have you, my friend Simpira. Sam. Okay, I'm going to get some chocolate, too. And I'm going to go to the bathroom, and when I come back, we are going to hit the timer, and we're going to start doing Simpira's chart for real. So I'll see you guys in just a moment. Oh dear. Sorry folks, just give me 1 second here. There's always so many things to do. I have a friend who I need to contact. Not contact and call, but I have to deal with this thing right now. And I don't know how to deal with that. I do. Whatever. I'm not going to take forever on this. Send and pay to a PayPal account. This is only going to take 10,000 years. Do. I don't know how to find my @ on PayPal. And I wish I could do that because this person is asking for it. I don't want to do it so that they have it. I saw the link via mail. PayPal name. This will only be 1 second here, folks. Yeah, it's okay. This gives us a moment to eat some chocolate. And I appreciate everybody's patience, including Sam. Got it. Okay, got it. Oh, thank God. Sweet. Ugh. Business. All right, how's it going, everybody? Thank you for your patience, folks. I think I'm the only person in the universe that can keep people hanging on like this. And you guys don't deserve that, but I appreciate you doing it. Today is pretty simple. La Montagne. This is some dark chocolate. And it's pretty much just straight dark chocolate. I usually have a bit of salt in there. Salty dark chocolate. Just like hook that right into my veins. I'm crazy about that salty dark chocolate. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you dearly for your patience. The time has come. Let us move forward and do our second reading for today. We are going to put on our timer. We've got it on here for 30 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, let us be rocking and rolling. Now we start. And I thank you very much for your patience, Sam, and for everybody else who's hanging out here. Okay. So, now as usual, we are going to focus on our Tropical Vedic Big Three. But usually I like to dive in a little bit and see everything going on in this chart. Mars is combust, and it is also shamed by the sun, and also the sun is shamed by Mars, because we have a node, and whenever we have a malefic and a node, it's going to shame the planet, any other planets in that space. So Sun and Mars are shaming each other through Rahu. That's not hitting any particular load-bearing walls in the chart. Saturn's actually the strongest in this chart, which is nice, because Saturn is the Atmakaraka. We have a really blistering strong Mars. So this Mars is really giving the gears to the Sun. That is for sure. 4, 5, 8... Mars is still strong in this chart, which is nice. The sun has got a nice delight from Jupiter. Here's something interesting. Yeah. This is interesting. So there's a lot wrapped up. Wow. So there's a lot really wrapped up with the first and second houses for the Scorpio rising. We have the first house and the second house totally tied up and squished into each other. That's where most of these planets are. The only planets that are outside of that are Saturn and the moon. It's nice that Saturn is in its own sign in Aquarius, and the moon is over here in Pisces. The moon has a planet in its 12th house. Saturn being in the 12th house from the moon can be a little bit, it's like a natural sati energy. Sun, Mars, Rahu. Is it Cosmi blood Cancer? I'm not sure if there's an indication there for cancer or any kind of blood diseases or anything like that, but yeah, there's a possibility that something like that might be going on. But whatever diseases you might get from the shaming of Sun and Mars, it's going to happen more through your actions, more from not taking care of yourself. That's usually what would cause something like that to blow out of proportion. Now, what's most significant in this chart for me is that Mars is in Jupiter's sign, and Jupiter is in Mars's sign. And these two signs are wrapped up with so much planetary energy. Jupiter and Mercury are technically very happy close to the first house cusp, and that gives them some yoga power. Mercury and Venus have really got a little bit of a yoga happening between each other in the first house with Pluto. So Mercury and Venus are friends. They like to be together, but they are starving this Jupiter. However, even though that starvation is happening, Jupiter still gets a boost from the moon, being basically trine to that Jupiter, and the moon is a friend to Jupiter, as well as being in Mars's sign. So Jupiter balances out. This is an interesting chart. And yeah, that Venus is crazy happy. It's getting an angle. It's getting Saturn's 10th house aspect. It's getting Mercury's conjunction. And it's getting a delight from Jupiter as well by being conjunct. Now, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, you could say it's in your 12th. I read it, Sam, as being in your first house because Scorpio is the first house of this chart. Remember, in Tropical Vedic Astrology, we use something called the whole sign houses system. And that means no matter where the first house cusp falls, everything contained in that first house is considered to be the first house of Scorpio. Now, the 12th house cusp seems to fall around those planets as well, which means really even the fact that they're behind the first house cusp, like technically those planets were above the horizon when you were born. So there is some 12th house energy there. Yes, I would agree with that, but it's a mix of first house, 12th house, and it's more first house, I would say, as a Tropical Vedic astrologer. But I digress. It's nice that there is that harmony of Mercury and Venus. Venus is pumping in this chart, and all the things that Venus rules are going to have a little bit of a boost because of that, including the 12th house and the 7th house. Even in Shadbala, Venus is doing okay. So that is a real nice boost to Venus, to the relationships for this person, and to a little bit of a mental, spiritual peace. Venus is really getting boosted and feeling good about itself. And you've probably been guided by guides, by spirit guides, to find ways of developing natural, harmonic relationships with business partners and also potential marriage and romantic partners. It's a nice thing. A little bit of a blessing going on there. The moon is square to the sun and very much like waxing. So the moon's kind of happy. It's happier when it's waxing and moving towards full. The real big thing going on in this chart that I think is interesting, especially because Rahu is falling into Sagittarius and Jupiter is therefore the lord of Rahu. And we have here a Jupiter that is in a mutual exchange, a Parivartana yoga with the rising sign lord. So there's a real blending of the first and second house happening for this person. A real blending of the identity with early childhood, with the voice, with the face, with the throat, with knowledge, the accumulation of knowledge, the accumulation of wealth. Sun, Mars shaming each other in the second house might feel like there's a big pressure. There's a pressure from your family to have lots of money, to be a powerful man in yourself with lots of resources, to feel beautiful, to have a strong psyche, to have a strong erotic psyche. And Mercury is very well supported in this chart as well. So the 8th house is going to give you the capacity to do this as well. It's an interesting chart. It's a good chart. There's a lot of strength being conveyed by this chart. We have an indication that the moon is a little bit testy in terms of its subha, in terms of its positions in the dignities of the Vargas. But it's close to the 4th house cusp. Overall, the moon's not too bad either. So it's very interesting. Now, something that is probably going to be worth talking about is the moon inside of Purva Bhadrapada. Let me just check to see. Yeah, it's either Purva Bhadrapada or Uttara Bhadrapada. Let me just check here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's probably Purva Bhadrapada, but it's somewhere around those two. So you read a lot of scriptures like Vedanta, Yoga Sutras. Amazing, Sam. Awesome. You sound like you're into the same stuff that I am. Yeah, so you read it as Purva Bhadrapada. That's what I'll go with, because that's what my software is giving as well. So we have you as the moon in Purva Bhadrapada. Now, it would be really interesting to read into what's going on with that Parivartana Yoga. If I have time, I might dig into it. But let's today, for the moment, let's now focus on our Tropical Vedic Big Three. In Sam's chart, we have the Atmakaraka is Saturn. And so whatever's going on with Saturn is going to be significant for this person. Saturn is inside of its own sign, in the sign of Aquarius, in the 4th house. For Scorpio rising, Saturn in the 4th house in its own sign of Aquarius, obviously it's going to be happy in its own sign. That might technically be Mula Trikona. No, it's considered to be its own sign. So it's too far into Aquarius to be Mula Trikona. But it is in its own sign and down here in the 4th house. There's significations there of a need to have inner happiness, to have happiness at home, to be feeling like whatever you do for your work, for your career, when you come home, you've spent a lot of time diligently developing on the social relationships that you have in your life. I actually am very close to somebody in my life who's a Scorpio rising with Saturn Amakaraka, but their Saturn is not placed as well as yours is. You are probably somebody who deeply values the connections you have at home. Because remember, whatever is the Atmakaraka is going to emphasize, there's going to be an emphasis on the signs that planet rules and the houses that planet rules. In the case of Scorpio rising, Saturn rules the 3rd and 4th house. So there's going to be an important, a deep intrinsic feeling of the need for soul inner foundational happiness at home. When you wake up, the world that you live in is what is important for you to feel. The people you keep close to in your life, your family and your friends. Having a good vehicle. Having a comfortable vehicle. No, that's okay. All of these things are going to be important for you with Saturn in the 4th house like that. Now, Saturn inside of your chart is in the 7th, the 8th Navamsha of an air sign. That puts it in the sign of Taurus. So Taurus is your Swamsha. So, everybody, we have somebody who is Saturn Atmakaraka and Taurus Swamsha. Saturn Atmakaraka means that it's probably going to be a while. As time comes through, it's going to take you a lot of time to fully develop and manifest the happiness, the peace, the environmental calm of home that you truly seek. There might be some times where you might have to develop your true home. In order to do this, you have to have Saturn. You have to have a purpose in life. And you have to, likely with Taurus Swamsha, what might help you to bring together your sense of a purpose is Taurus. It's quadrupeds. It's got 4 strong legs, which means it has healthy physical life, healthy emotional life, healthy mental life, and healthy physical life. Spiritual life, that is, healthy dharma. And you need to have all 4 of these things possibly worked out with the people around you, and even living with a person, or living through person, living in community. But Taurus tends to enjoy waiting. Taurus tends to enjoy being together with some kind of partner. That's Taurus Swamsha. There is a need in the Taurus Swamsha person to, again, there's the tantra of eating. It's the feeling that I need to have a reason to take my money and to spend it on loved ones. And when I am spending money on my loved ones, that gives me a reason and a desire and excitement to go and work and do a job that I'm comfortable with. This is all probably pretty natural to you because you've got Venus and it's very strongly delighted. It's delighted by Mercury, it's delighted by Saturn, and it's delighted by Jupiter. It's a nice thing for this Venus. You're probably a beautiful cat. You're probably somebody who has lots of value that you could bring to a woman or to whatever type of person you want to be with. I always say, I'm not sure if you might have mentioned it already, but I am an LGBTQ plus ally, which means if you identify with anything other than, a straight person, that's always okay. But whatever type of love that you're seeking to find in your life, Sam, you have the ability to get it. And you have the ability to fasten yourself down to something meaningful so that you can manifest it. And Saturn in you, it's going to take a while to do this. What's interesting too is that you've got Neptune and Uranus in Capricorn. You're of close to my generation. So all three of these planets, Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn, are not going to come into full manifestation until you start, yeah, you're straight. I might have figured that. I just had a sense of it. So you're looking to be with a woman, and it's very likely that your complete power as a person to be in relationship with somebody and to develop a meaningful life and connection with somebody, that power and that capacity is probably going to come as you start to move into age 36. Because remember, as I always say, we begin life moving from 0 to age 36. We're coming from Ketu. At age 36, Saturn matures. That allows us to dive into Rahu, which really also means that we could say that none of your planets are fully activated until you start. There's going to be a deep dive. You've always almost been protecting yourself away from your destiny. You have an important destiny, and you've been hiding in Ketu in Gemini. And you've been doing lots of things close to home, lots of things with your neighborhood, and taking care of the people around you, perhaps your siblings, perhaps other people in your family. And as you get to age 36, you're going to start to feel a hunger, a desire, and the ability. That's what's most important about Saturn maturing. So you're going to feel the ability to handle more pressure by doing something that you truly want to do. Now, it's possible with Ketu in this 8th house of Gemini that you've been doing things with other people, other people's money, working at a company, possibly dealing with other people's money. But now the theme is going to start being all about, what do I do with my money? And you have to start taking your destiny in your hands. Your family, the people around you are going to, for you to say to them, I'm going to start manifesting my life, truly. I'm going to start using our family wealth and family money and doing things with it. I'd like to know, Sam, I wonder if you're an only child, or are you do you have siblings? I'd be curious to know. I'm wondering whether marriage is the right decision for you. I would say you have more of an 8th house Ketu if you're a Scorpio rising. One sister. Yeah. Okay. So you are the man of your house, and you're probably feeling the destiny putting pressure on you to start taking your money, whatever money you have, investing it. Investments is very key for the 2nd house placement. Properly investing your money so you can build a future, and you can think about the type of future that you want to build. This is investing, you can invest in things like ETFs. Learn about the stock market. And I don't mean like, you don't need to be a stock person. I'm talking about there are plays that you can use in the world of finances where it's good to read a lot about investment. In Canada, we have something called the couch potato method. And what it is instead of looking for, I'm going to put money into NVIDIA, I'm going to put money into Microsoft, I'm going to put money into this and hopefully it blows up. And then you're watching your phone all the time like, oh no, my stocks are going up. I should sell. Should I sell? Maybe I'll wait one more day. And then it plunges. You're like, oh, I should have sold. All that stuff. You don't want to be one of those people. I mean, I don't know. You might with all the 2nd house energy that you got going on. But for anyone with stuff in the 2nd house, You want to have a long, well-diversified stock portfolio, a long-term investor, and which means that you want to invest in stocks that have ETFs, which go all over the world internationally as well as your locale. So it's good that you're getting into that stuff. Be aware of the ETFs that have like 9,000 different stocks all over the world in one ETF. And you don't want to, mutual funds can do this, but then you're paying the mutual fund people. So keep in mind all this stuff. This second house energy is very important because you've got Rahu there. Now, ultimately, as you come into age 36 and as you get into your late 30s, there's going to be a desire to work materially towards some kind of functional, pragmatic, narrowed identity that you have for yourself. To have a job and even an education that allows you to do what you want to do in your inner life. Now, your 10th lord is in that second house, so you might be somebody who deals with money, who deals with finances and that kind of thing. Something interesting to think about. If you choose this path, will you become a good astrologer or script writer or investor? I could see you being a good investor, although you want to be careful because you've got some shame. Sun is shaming Mars and Mars is shaming Sun in the second house. So there might be feelings of a lot of hot intensity when it comes to investing. I'd be careful with it. I would be careful with it. Choosing some kind of solid career is best for Saturn. Something that is going to allow you to get comfortable, perhaps inside of, something that's either something you do by yourself as your own entrepreneurial investment, or something where you're in a company where you're happy, you've got benefits, you've got this kind of thing, and then doing investing on the side with your own money. Perhaps a government job. Yeah, you could do something like that. You could do well doing something like that. The main point is that whatever extra money that you get from whatever gig that you get, because you're Saturn, not Makarka, it just wants to be solid. You don't even want to have to think about it too much. You just want to show up to work, do the job that you're here to do, and allow that to develop on your personal resources so you can, take 15% of your income and put it into your investments of your stock portfolio. And then with your money left over, you can explore and expand your heart by having friendships and by having people who are meaningful to you in your life. And that's this Taurus Swamsha, right? It's the Taurus Swamsha that kind of signifies that you are going to enjoy the work that you do, especially because you got a good Venus. You will find a job that you enjoy doing, that you're happy to do, and that you're happy to go and make money so that then you can go and enjoy the life you have with your loved ones. Because we have Saturn at Makaraka, and Taurus is the Swamsha. So this is a long-range seeking person, someone who's looking to be happy with their whole lives, to not go too crazy with anything. Don't let somebody come up to you with some magic beans. You know what I mean by magic beans? Magic beans is like when you go to somebody and they say, hey, there's this investment. You should put all of your money into this place. Any Sarpa Yoga? No, I don't think you have Sarpa Yoga. No, I wouldn't say that you have Sarpa Yoga, because you've got half of your planets on one side of Rahu and then the other half of your planets are on the other side of Rahu. Now you asked something about Mercury. 12th house conjunction details, the current Mercury dasha. Viprit Raj Yoga. I'm not sure what Viprit Raj Yoga is, but I do have you as being in Mercury Mahadasha right now. So with Mercury, just like Venus, it's being delighted by its friend Venus and Jupiter. So Mercury is pretty happy-chappy in this chart as well. Since you have Ketu in the sign of Gemini, the Mercury Mahadasha is going to be very significant for you. And a lot of the themes that you're feeling with Mercury are going to continue when you get into your Ketu Mahadasha in 2032 when you're 38 years old. But at that point, it's going to be very specifically oriented in a K2 fashion. Right now, it's just Mercury. Right now, it's enjoying opening your mind, finding all the ways where you can enjoy yourself, your capacity, your community, the people around you. And this is the general theme of Mercury. Expanding your happiness, expanding your money, expanding your power, business with other people, expanding your capacity to think about the gains that you truly seek in your life. Think about, because your 11th house is ruled by Virgo. So think about what is your ultimate purpose in life? What do you want to do? What do you want to manage? What kind of happiness do you see yourself truly exploring and getting in this life? Now, with the moon's nakshatra is the last thing that I want to talk about while we've still got time here. With the moon's nakshatra in the sign of Purva Bhadrapada, we have somebody here who is actually a very mystical, non-materialistic person. Material things want to be piled before the altar of sacrifice for Purva Bhadrapada. Burning things by deep and thorough perception allows the Purva Bhadrapada person to comprehend the true meaning and purpose of life, and then to become rather disinterested in the tangential material world. So you are obviously an Indian person with lots of this Hindu Yoga Sutras type of consciousness. It's important for you to do what we all talk about, is that in order for you to have items on your altar to sacrifice, which Purva Bhadrapada wants to do, it's important for you to have a balance in the material world where you listen to God within you. Because I see you've got indications for spirituality. You have a good relationship with Saturn, and that's a beautiful, blessed thing. For anyone with lots of Saturn energy, the key is to find something where you can work selflessly without expectation of immediate reward. You are building things in the inner world of spirit, but you also need to be confident in slowly building things in the material world as well. Enjoy your connections with a wife. But when you have your connections with a wife, think of it as like, the Hare Krishna people do Krishna Prasadam. They make this food for Krishna. They make it so beautiful. They make it healthy. It's usually vegan. And they prepare it with a lot of love. They're constantly thinking, Om Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And they're stirring it. They're putting in all these spices. And they're preparing it for Krishna. They want to imagine that they're giving this to their God, Krishna. They're giving this to the higher power, the higher reality. It's a sacrifice for them. All this time and all this energy, they're doing it out of love. And then what happens at the very end? They don't burn it on an altar. What they do with the Krishna Prasadam, what they do with this food that they've so meticulously prepared, is that they eat it. And they taste it, and they say, this is so well, deliciously prepared. Because Krishna is within them. There's a very important story when it comes to Krishna. I don't want to say it too long, but it goes like this. Baby Krishna, he's sitting and he's crying and he's hungry. And so the people who are watching Baby Krishna, his advisors, they say, oh, Baby Krishna, you're hungry. So they have to go across the river in order to go into town to get some cheese for Baby Krishna. And along the way, there's a man at the river. And that man is standing there, and he can take them across the river. So the man says to them, hello, everybody. It's nice to see you. I'm the guy who operates this boat. And they say, good sir, it's nice to see you. We want you to know Krishna is very hungry. Baby Krishna, he's the savior of the world. He's very hungry, so we need to get him some cheese. And the man says, okay, well, that's well and good, but, I need to take care of myself too. So you guys I'll help you cross the river. And then when you get your cheese, I'll help you cross the river again. But you guys have got to give me a little bit of something. You guys can give me a big chunk of your cheese. That'll do well for me. They say, how selfish of this man. They talk amongst each other. How can this man say this is for baby Krishna? They're like, we have to do it. We have to do it. And they say, okay, sir, we'll give you some of Krishna's cheese. They help him across. He helps them across the river. They get the cheese from town, and then they go across the river. And they give man a huge chunk of cheese, because that's what he asks for. A big chunk, please, almost half of it. And they're like, oh, gosh. They give him half the cheese. And then they go to Krishna, and they find baby Krishna, and they find him sound asleep, and he's rubbing his belly, and he's closing his eyes, and he seems to be full. And they say, Krishna, aren't you hungry? We got you some cheese. And Krishna said, that's okay. No, that's okay. That man by the river, he already fed me. Because that man by the river, who was doing what he had to do for himself in order to survive and to have his happiness, was also feeding Krishna. It's an interesting story, and it's one that we tell a lot in the Krishna world. In your case, my friend, just like when you make Krishna prasadam, you put all this effort into it, and you eat it, and you love it yourself. But it's ultimately for Krishna. It's ultimately a sacrifice on Purva Bhadrapada's altar. The same thing needs to happen to you with your finances, with the wealth that you build for yourself and your family, with the enjoyment that you have in your relationships. When you speak to your wife, you talk to your wife, you talk with her about all the things that you love to talk about. You enjoy the fruits of having a woman. That's our alarm for our half-an-hour mark. Enjoy your relationship. And I think that you do have good significations for having a relationship. You still want to, like everybody, you want to work on your relationship hygiene. You ask your woman what would make her happy. And whenever you look into your lover's eyes and you say, I'm so blessed to have a wife like this, you remember that that is Krishna. And you don't push her away and say, no, I don't want this material thing. I only want Krishna. Remember that you enjoying your wife is just like enjoying Krishna prasadam. As long as you intend it to be for Krishna, for the love of Krishna, a lot of good things will happen to you. And I see this being a positive theme in your chart. But ultimately, working without expectation is what is going to build the Saturn in this chart, which means finding some kind of job, some kind of career that allows you to experience the happiness at home, the personal happiness and love that we see happening with Saturn in the bottom of this chart, as well as the Taurus Swamsha. These things together, this is a sort of, there's spirituality in this chart, but don't be afraid to be happy. Don't be afraid to do what you need to do for your own personal happiness and to treat that as the gift that you give to Krishna, your personal happiness at home. It's particularly because Saturn is down here in its own sign of Aquarius. Being in Aquarius, the Atmakaraka in Aquarius is going to have some themes of having a happy community, having a happy psychology, having friends, having people who are close to you who all want to enjoy the bounty that you bring as a spiritual, emotionally awake person, which I see you being. The last thing that I would do, now we have to go on to the next person, but I recommend, if you ever get a chance to, read up a little bit on the Parivartana yoga between Scorpio and Sagittarius, the first house and the second house, because you'll find that your identity is very wrapped up in the second house, in your friendships, your money, your social reality, also because Saturn is there in Aquarius as well. If I had any gemstone recommendation for you, Sampira, you're good, bro. There's not really much that you need to really rectify or remediate, which is a nice thing. The sun is got a little bit spotty in your chart. The sun and Mars are kind of shaming each other a little bit. So it might be good for you to think about how that's one of the only damaging things going on in this chart is Sun and Mars shaming each other. It's not beyond reprieve. It doesn't damage so much that it knocks you out completely. But this is worth, especially because if you're a Scorpio rising, Yeah, Mars. Mars would be the one. Mars would be the planet that would be worth remediating for yourself, Sam. Because it's your Scorpio rising, because you've got 3 planets there, 3 planets and Pluto in the sign of Scorpio, and it's your rising sign according to our current understanding of your birth time. Mars is shamed in the 2nd house by the sun, and it's combust. I think that Mars might be the one thing that you can bring together for yourself, that you can digest and focus on. So that would be red things. Usually something like ruby. You know, I'm somebody for whom, remember, when it comes to gemstones, I know a lot of people in the Indian tradition can be almost a little bit what I would, as a Westerner, call superstitious. That's just my cultural upbringing. But what I will say, what I, as a Western esoteric occultist, when I have a gemstone, it's nice to, if it costs a lot of money, that's how much money you're paying to the cosmos and saying, I'm willing to work on this energy. But you don't need to buy a $10,000 ruby. You know, you don't even need to buy a $1,000 ruby. You know, a ruby, I would say look up gemstones that relate to Mars. It's probably worth just quickly peeking here. Yeah, so generally red coral, munga, is also recommended for Mars as well. Red coral is standard. Yeah, that seems to be the one that's generally mostly used. But also bloodstone, garnet, and ruby. Red coral, bloodstone, garnet, and ruby are gemstones that contain the essence of Mars, which, if you focus on it, remember, that's the most important thing. You can't just buy a gemstone and say, okay, I did my part. You have to use it as a magical totem. If you're going to use a gemstone, consider it as a blessed gift to Krishna and to your Ishta Devata, and say, I want to bring in this masculine Mars energy into my life. Mars means boundaries. It means being fully focused, fixed, and dedicated to the things that you want to follow through on. And with Saturn might cause you to be someone who takes your time, and that's a good thing. You're a Saturn person. You don't want to be outside of your Saturn energy. But Saturn will put pressure on Mars as the Atmakaraka. So Mars here, you want to use it to think about the vitalizing quality of truth, of Kali Ma even, might be an energy you might want to bring into yourself. If there is a laziness in your chart, the Mars being shamed probably has something to do with it, Sam. So Mars and a little bit of the sun being shamed, find something red, find something that has that deep red color, and say to yourself, do some kind of, even the Mars mantra might do you well. It's the Bij mantra of Mars. What the heck, let's do it while we're here. So the Bij mantra of Mars, Kali Ma is your family deity. That's good because Kali Ma is going to have a lot of this red, fiery, brimstone, lack of laziness, warrior goddess energy. Letting go of yourself and putting yourself into the fire of tapas, of discernment. You might do well with yoga, with tapas. When you read the Yoga Sutras, doing the tapas and making it an everyday or every other day thing where you're exercising your body. It's going to be very important. So exercise, practicing your boundaries, perhaps getting a gemstone that's the color red that we've described, and doing a favor for yourself and bringing in the Mangal Bij mantra. Now, this is the one you've probably heard it, and this would be the one that I recommend you follow through with. Om Kram Krim Kram Saha Bhomaya Namaha. Om Kram Krim Kram Saha Bhomaya Namaha. Invoke Mars, invoke the red, and think about how you can bring that bristling energy and drive and give it as a purpose in what you do, because that is the only thing that I would say is worth remediation in your chart. I hope that's been helpful for you, Sam. I hope that that resonates. It sounds like it does. And I appreciate you for being a part of it, a part of this reading today. Thank you, Sam. Now, everybody, I'd say that's worth calling it one for Sam. We've got to move on. We've got to get to at least one more reading today. Hare Krishna, my friend. I'm glad that you were a part of this with us today, Sam. Let's everybody give a nice golf clap. Yes, well done. Very well done, sir. Thank you very much, Sam, for being a part of our reading today. It's funny, these readings, they all unfold in different ways, and every person's chart can have different things, different necessities, different areas and angles that I want to go to. But this is a good chart. I have high hopes for you, Sam, my friend. Every now and then we see a chart where things are supporting each other, the right things are going in the right way. And Sam, I hope that you enjoyed that reading. Namaste, thanks for being a part of this, and feel free to join my channel anytime and to keep doing this, because every time I do somebody's chart, I kind of tend to branch off into different places. We did good with that one. We stuck to our Vedic Big Three theme pretty well, I would say. And that is our current season on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everybody. I'm glad that you guys dug it. Yeah, I work in seasons right now. Right now, we're doing the Tropical Vedic Big Three, which has been heralded by my friend Corey Dowds here. Corey Dowds is he's a fellow Tropical Vedic astrologer like me, and he threw out one day, he's like, there's the Western Big Three, which is Ascendant, Sun, and Moon. And Corey Dowds came out and said, what would it be like if we did the Vedic Big Three? And he just went out there and said, it would probably be the Atmakarika, the Swamsha, and the Moon's Nakshatra. He went out and did that, and I was like, man, that's sick. So I'm just going to start doing that on my channel for a little while so that everybody can see and understand and feel what he means, of why that's such a significant placement. So, everybody, thank you so much for being here. For those who are watching, we're about to do our final reading for the day. Yes, we still have one more chart to consider. After I eat some chocolate. I love me some chocolate. Damn, that's good. So, folks, we have one more to go. We have 10 people live who are hanging out with us at this present time. And now it looks like a lot of the people who have been hanging out with us are still here and ready to be joining in. So, everybody, we're now at our next reading. We're about to do our third reading of the day, final reading. We haven't chose it yet. So if you're watching now, you are now having the ability to join the queue to get a free Tropical Vedic reading on this day of our Lord, Thursday, December 11th. So, I can see that Toxica and Izzy are still here. Now, let's do a roll call, everybody. Who's still here and who wants a reading? Who is present? Michaela, you are still here, my dear. It's nice to have you hanging. Itzel, nice to see you, Itzel. Now, Itzel, I'm feeling fairly certain that I have your email, Itzel. So, Itzel, do me a favor. Do you know if you've joined dustincormier.com/subscribe, Itzel? Let me know if you have, because that is what I'm promoting today. I might just do one. I might just include you in the list because you've been on my channel for a long time. Hello there, Healing Wisdom. Nice to see you. So, yeah, we got everybody here. All right, so we got Lamar. We got Sean Pollack. We got Emma Krellin. Healing Wisdom Arts. Shira. Neora is still here. Yes, Itzel. I had a feeling that I already had you, my dear. So Itzel, you have joined the list. And Neor, it's nice to have you still hanging out. Shira, I got you, honey. All right, so I have Healing Wisdom, Toxica, Shira, Michaela, Izzy, Neor, Amma Krellin, Lamar Long, Sean Pollack, and Itzel. Now that's our roll call today, and we are about to pick our next and final contestant for the day. If you haven't been picked, or if you're here, if you're watching and you want to be a part of this reading, now's your chance to let me know. Just say I'm here, and you can still be a part of our reading today if I haven't called your name from this list. Healing Wisdom, Toxica, Shira, Michaela, Izzy, Neor, Emma Krellin, Lamar Long, Sean Pollack, and Itzel. Oh, that's sweetie of Monica. I think Monica is holding me down, as Monica always does. And thank you for asking, darling. So if anybody's interested, I have a PayPal link for the work that I do. And if anybody ever wants to connect with me there and to give me a donation, you can feel free to click on this little link. And that is a spot where I can receive donations for the work that I do. Now remember, I've been very happy to just have you guys joining my subscription, my email list, so I appreciate you guys for doing that in that regard. So tips are always appreciated, never expected, as I like to say. And I'd like to thank Monica for paying attention and keeping me on my own game here. Now, that being said, we do currently have 17 viewers. Now, we are about to pick our next reading. We're about to pick our client for our final reading. Let me know if you're watching live and if you just joined in. Would you like a free reading right now, right this second? If you know your birth information, you have the chance at this present moment to have a reading. Keep in mind, everybody, if you don't get a chance at being read today, we're doing another one of these this coming Saturday. And we're going to do 3 more free charts. That will be promoting my YouTube channel. But for now, we are promoting my email list by going to dustincormier.com/subscribe. So it looks like everybody is here, and everybody who wants a reading seems to be here. So let's do our final pick for the day, folks. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people on the list who have a chance to be read. Now, I should say Monica has been actually hanging out here. Monica, I know that you've done these things before with me. So if you should ever want, I got a donation. See, God bless Monica for reminding me. Thank you to the person who just donated $12 to me through PayPal. I appreciate it very much. Some people don't prefer for their name to be said. I know who the person is, and I appreciate it very much. So, Monica, let me know if you want a reading today. I know I've read you lots of times, but I'm always happy to because you deserve to be on this just as much as everybody else does. And I don't mind it at all, especially because you support my channel so much. So, at the moment, we have our people. We have our choices. Let's start moving through. I'm going to pick a number. I'm going to say number 31 today. And I'm going to begin right in the middle. And I'm going to go down and up and down and up and down. So we're going for 31. I'm beginning in the middle of my list. We're about to pick our next contestant, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Ladies and gentlemen, the choice has been made. Today, my friend Izzy has been chosen. Congratulations, Izzy. The original OG, one and only. Izzy has been chosen to be our next contestant on the show. Congratulations, Izzy. You have been picked. The excitement is so real. You've been hanging with us for a bit here, Izzy, and so I'm glad. I always love when somebody who's been looking for a turn gets a turn. Congratulations to Izzy, and for everybody who's been watching and who didn't get a turn today, thank you so much for being a part of this. Always remember, if anyone is interested in just cutting to the chase and jumping in for a reading, you can always contact me at astrology@dustincormier.com. You can check out my website, dustincormier.com. And as well, keep in mind that we are going to be doing more readings Saturday. So we're going to skip Friday. Then Saturday, December 13th. So that's this Saturday coming, around 10 in the morning, EST. We will be doing our final, not final. I probably won't do another one after that for a bit because it's Christmas time. But we will be doing membership-based readings this coming Saturday as well. So for anybody who didn't get a chance, thank you so much for being a part of this today. Feel free to keep hanging out. We have our one final reading to do with our friend Izzy today. And I appreciate everyone who's been a part of this. Thank you for the donations. All the donations that you give by going to my little PayPal link here. I've already gotten one. 2 actually, and I thank Monica again for reminding me to put it out there. All the donations that I give allows me to keep doing what I'm doing, to keep spreading the love, keep on teaching astrology, and keep on developing this community that we're all building together in the world of astrology, the world of spirituality, the world of love that we're all building. So thank you to all my donators, and thank you to everybody who's joined in on my subscription email list, because I'm going to be putting a book out. My first book's going to be coming out this March, and then there's going to be every subsequent year, we're going to have more books coming out. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Francesca, my dear, you have been chosen. Congratulations. So maybe, Izzy, I'm going to call you Francesca with a C. So I'm going to make sure you guys aren't looking at my ugly mug while I do this. Okay, we got a Pittsburgh gal. So that's November 25th. (1969). Female, and that is at 1:32 in the morning. Now, Francesca, I always like to ask, because everybody is welcome here on my channel, let me know if you identify anything other than female, and let me know if you are oriented towards, I'm somebody who's bisexual. I'm LGBTQ plus ally. So if you identify with any orientation in particular, let me know, so that when I'm talking with you about relationships, it does tend to play a part. France, female, single. Okay. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, PE, I guess. I wonder what's the code for Pennsylvania? What's the 2-letter state code for Pennsylvania? PA. Right. Pittsburgh. Am I being ignorant to something here? Pittsburgh, PA. Oh, I think I'm spelling Pittsburgh wrong, I guess. So Shira, just so you know, it'll be December 13th at 10 a.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys. Yeah, you guys are with me on this. Pittsburgh. I think I was spelling it wrong. Yeah, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Looks like I got it now. Shira, just so you asked, it's going to be EST. December 13th, 2025. EST at 10 in the morning will be our next session. So, Francesca, I have you November 25th, 1969 at 1:32 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I have you as a Virgo at about 23, 24 degrees of Virgo. Let me know if that fits, Francesca, if that's what you're used to seeing. I always like to check because it happens way too often that I get up and running with somebody's astrology chart and find later that I put in something wrong, that I put in the birth significations wrong somehow. But it looks like this would be it. Virgo rising. Good. Okay. Looks like we're on the right spot then. Very well. So congratulations, Francesca, Fran. Let's start here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a timer for 30 minutes on. And we are about to begin our final reading for the day, ladies and gentlemen. I have my timer here. So without further ado, Izzy, it is now time to be going into your half an hour reading today. I have clicked the button and now we have started. Okay, Francesca. Oh God, I'm gonna have to stretch after all this. What's happening in this chart here? Let's see. The sun is a little bit difficult being in the 4th house. Sagittarius, though, at least it's delighted. Looks like we have a combust Mercury. Rahu and Ketu are in the Virgo Pisces axis, which means you are going through your North Node return right now. Because, of course, we know that the eclipses are happening in Pisces and Virgo. And the North Node is in Pisces right now. So 69, 79, 89, 99, 2009, 2019, 2022. You're about 55 years old. You would have just turned 55 or 56. Yeah, 56 years old. So at 56 years old, we have your Saturn, your second Saturn return is going to be coming up soon. And yes, you have your second North Node return. Actually, it would be your 4th North Node return. The nodal returns happen every 18 years. So no, that'd be your third North Node return. It's a very important time in life. So you, especially having these nodes on the ascendant axis, is going to show that there's a lot of depth, a lot of lessons being related to the identity, especially with Pluto in Virgo with Ketu. Everyone in your generation had Pluto in Virgo. You are the one particular person born with Pluto in Virgo and Ketu there. So the lessons of Virgo, the lessons of Mercury are going to be very important to you. They're going to be Plutonian. And this Plutonian energy has probably been gathering. The older we get, the more that Pluto has been doing what Pluto's been doing. Now, this is relevant because it's important to note that Mercury is being agitated by the sun. It's combust the sun. And as well, we have a full moon. And these two together are definitely damaging this Mercury. It's a happy moon, though, which is very nice. Yeah, this is another blistering moon going on in this chart. The moon here is the strongest planet in Stana. It's really a quite poppin' planet, especially from the aspects that are being given to it. It's a full moon, and that's a nice thing. And, you know, it's funny, it's not as happy in the 10th house, so it doesn't have as much yoga power as we would like for it to have, but it's still a pretty darn strong moon happening there in that 10th house overall. Saturn seems to be okay in the 9th house of Taurus. Mars is technically happy in the 6th house. Aquarius is so-so. I'm looking around for any Parivartana yogas. Doesn't look like we got any. So, the big thing happening in this chart going on is we have Jupiter Atmakaraka. And that's going to be relevant because we have Jupiter Atmakaraka and Rahu falling into Pisces. And we also have it's interesting that Mercury, which rules Ketu, is also falling into Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter has a lot of important things wrapped up in one space there. As well, Jupiter is, so let's say this first, because remember we are discussing in these videos, particularly the Tropical Vedic Big Three. And Robbie, that's right, we do have another Taurus Swamsha. Now, Izzy, you're asking about marriage in your chart. Francesca, I should say. Let's talk about that. Especially, it's an important question you'd be asking while you're going through your nodal return. I do see marriage being significant to you, especially as a Taurus Swamsha person. So, let's first begin by discussing the Tropical Vedic Big Three. The first indicator that we have is the Atmakaraka, which for our friend Francesca here, okay, you're divorced. Okay, yeah. So most people will go through divorces in their lives. The moon in you is obviously very pronounced, and there would be a desire for you to have the love sickness to be connected with somebody. What might be true, it's worth mentioning that there's one planet in this chart that is significantly placed in a way that can show some signs of difficulty. In fact, there's the three planets that are all connected in a similar vein. The sun in your chart is one planet by being in the 4th house, in the particular place that it's in by degrees, the season that it's in, everything winds up together to be not the hottest place for the sun. In fact, the sun in Shadbala, which is the report card of the chart, is regarded to be at about 52% of what it usually requires in its strength to be most effective. Leo, for a Virgo rising, rules the 12th house. So there's significations that there's some difficulty with the 12th house, with feeling at peace inside of yourself. Virgo wants to build, Virgo identifies through Leo. It identifies very strongly, very spiritually, with doing inner emotional work. Now, with the sun placed where it is in this chart, it's very likely that other things have sort of wrapped up and taken away the sun's ability to do what it wants to do in this regard. To do inner work, to go through your shadow, to find peace with yourself, to contemplate, to look within, and to work out whatever energies that might have even come from past lives. The 12th house is like a past life energy. So you don't have anything in Leo. But in Tropical Vedic Astrology, with the sun here in the 4th house, the sun has significations of having some weakness. I don't actually have the best sun either. My sun is at 75% of its Shadbala. It's a pretty common thing. So when the sun is at 50% of its Shadbala, this is tied into something else. Remember, for Shadbala, all the planets are grouped into 3 groups. There's the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter, which is really all about inspiration. There's Venus and the Moon, which are all about happiness. And then there's Mars and Saturn, which is all about emergencies and strength. There's sort of like Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic in a way. The Sattvic planets are in this sort of case. It's not exactly this way, but Sun, Jupiter, and Mercury are all grouped together. Now, if any of these are weak, the other two, if the Sun is weak, usually we have Jupiter and Mercury to compensate for it. In this case, in this chart in particular, we have the Sun and Mercury and Jupiter are all showing significations of having a little bit of difficulty inside of this chart. They're kind of lacking in the type of strength that would allow them to come fully forward with this inspirational part of the life. What's a little bit tricky is that Pluto, as well as the nodes, are in Virgo and Pisces, which is ruled by Mercury and Jupiter. And of course, the Sun also falls in Sagittarius. So all of this kind of rounds up to show that, especially because Jupiter is the Atmakaraka, and we have the nodes falling in Jupiter and Mercury signs, there is a need for this person to develop on the internal ways of inspiration, of remembering what it is to be inspired, to be creative, to follow the instinct of your inner knowing, but also to find perhaps gurus and to be playful with how you research into gurus. Isn't it Sun or Venus, since they get Shadbala in opposite house? Not sure what you're asking there, Loris Turpin Astrology. Isn't it Sun or Venus, since they get Shadbala? They do get Shadbala in opposite house. Venus is happy close to the bottom of the chart here, but the Sun prefers to be on the top of the chart, and the Moon actually prefers to be at the bottom of the chart. So there are some significations of difficulty, but remember, there's difficulty in every chart. One thing that's nice about this chart is that it's got some strength inside of Saturn. Venus has strength. Jupiter has enough strength to do what it needs to do. Really, Mercury is the big one that's really getting harmed here. So when the Sun and Jupiter and Mercury are all having significations of difficulty, it's important to remember to focus your concentration on the things that you know are best for you. There's really the Sun is the main thing that needs to be focused on in this chart. And so it might do you well to go out and enjoy the sun. You know, you can make sure you put on sunscreen, maybe even use an umbrella if you need to, if you're the type of person who is afraid to get burned by the sun. But to invite the sun as well as fire into your life. The Sun and Jupiter both resonate with fire. So you might be the type of person who would be well suited to gather some sticks together, go out and learn how to have fire wherever you are, if it's possible for you. Go out and find a park, bring some friends that can do it with you, and have a little inspirational fire with yourself, where you make a fire and you treat the fire like it's a guru. You treat it like it's a spirit. You treat it like it is the burning fire of sacrifice inside yourself. And perhaps find some mantras that are worth you doing. Even the sun mantra would be a very strong and a good thing for you to do, because the sun is one thing in this chart that needs remediation. So the sun mantra, it's one that I do all the time because I have a lack of sun mantra. So Francesca, if you ever get the time and the chance to, I'm going to check your second house. Yeah, you got Jupiter there in the second house too, in Libra. So how you use your voice to manifest what you seek is going to be a very important part of what you seek. If you are seeking love in your life, you need to start thinking about what it is that you seek. And remember, when it comes to love, you really want to make sure that this love is an extension of yourself. Because there are indications in your chart, Francesca, that you might want other people to save you. You might want love to save you. You might want marriage. You get married to another person. You say, oh, finally, I have somebody else to help me deal with my shit. And what will probably happen if you don't take the time to work on yourself, that you might feel shame and embarrassment by feeling like anybody who is going to be with you, if we don't take care of ourselves, everybody needs to take care of themselves. Everybody needs to take care of their own shit, their own mental inspiration, their own financial obligations, their own family, their own happiness. Everybody needs to be an individual sovereign unit of happiness in order to be a productive partnership. You see, many people, when they're getting into love, they think that love is when you bring a half circle and then another half circle. You bring them together and it becomes a whole circle. That's not how love actually works. How real love is supposed to work, how all loves that have ever happened properly, is when you take a whole circle, a whole person, and you bring together another whole person. They come together and they make an infinity symbol. And they can flow through each other and even increase the energy without breaking apart. Because love will increase energy. But this increase of energy can be more painful if you don't figure out your own happiness, your own wellness, your own relationship manifestation principles. What are you looking for in a relationship? And more important than that, what are you looking for in your life? Francesca, the chart is not going to show you if you have time for love. You're not going to be able to go and talk to an astrologer and say, hey, is there a chance for love for me? If they do say yes or if they do say no, they're wrong. You can create whatever you want. Astrology here is to show certain patterns. One of the patterns for you is that I do believe love is important to you because you have the nodes in a water and earth axis. You have Pluto and Ketu in the first house, and you have Rahu in the seventh house, which is even more of a signification that, yes, love would be important to you. It's also worth noting, because you are Jupiter Atmakaraka, Jupiter rules the fourth house, and Jupiter rules the seventh house. These are love houses. So it is important for you. It's a huge part of your energetic signature to experience love, which means you will attract it, and you will get it, and you will seek it if it is this important to you. But you really have to make sure that you first, what's even more important, the trick for this chart, is that you have to make peace inside yourself. And that's going to be tough with Ketu and Pluto and Virgo. It's going to be tough with an agitated Mercury. You have to find ways of seeking peace in yourself. You were just curious. Okay, yeah, I never heard... Sorry, I should say, Francesca, it's okay that you asked that question. And I didn't mean to grill you there or anything like that. What's most important is for us all to recognize that anything that we attract in our lives is going to be a reflection of what we've built upon ourselves. Now, if you were hurt 3 times, Francesca, thank you for telling me that, and I hear you. You know, love can be a very painful thing. And what's probably the most important thing is if love is as important for you as you're making it out to be, and I think it would be, your Mercury is a little bit, it's combusted by the sun, and it has certain things also by the moon. It's very likely that your Mercury, which is your throat chakra, It's very likely that this might have been drained or possibly burned out in all the relationships you've been in. It's very possible when you were very young that your parents might not have given you a chance. The age of Mercury is from age 3 to 12. And that is the age where we learn to talk about what we want to do with our lives. So I want to be a firefighter. What do I got to do to be a firefighter, Dad? And Dad buys you a little truck. You know, he's, oh, I heard you, darling. I heard what you're thinking of doing. Buy the little fire truck. It's like, okay, that was cool. Now I think I want to be a painter. The dad says, okay, we don't have that much money, but we'll go to the local community paint classes. We'll get your fingers into some finger paint and we'll start playing with it. When your parents hear how you want to explore what you want to do with your inspiration, that's a healthy Mercury. If your parents didn't encourage you to talk about important things in your life, this is when our Mercury can harm us, especially the sun and moon harming Mercury. It might show that there are things about yourself that you don't even talk with yourself about. There might be things inside of relationships where you have a certain idea, because the sun and moon are the main luminaries. They bring us all the light in the chart. The sun and moon can blind Mercury, which is what's happening in your chart. So our inner soul desires, you see, you have all these desires. You know, it's just like, you know, Jimi Hendrix. If you want to play guitar, everybody wants to play guitar like Jimi Hendrix. And do amazing like this. That's the sun and moon in us wants to have that light, that power, that rock stardom. But what we need to do is we need to learn. We need to ask questions. How do I learn how to play the guitar like that? What do I have to do? And it's the same way, Francesca, when it comes to relationships for you. You have an idea that you want to be in a relationship, and that's like you playing guitar. Now you have to ask, how do I do it? That's Mercury. How do I have fun being in a relationship? What do I have to do? What books do I have to read? What therapy do I have to take? What counselor do I have to talk to? What classes do I have to engage with and be a part of? You know, at every age, you know, Tantra. Do you think that would be too much, Francesca? Would that be too much to... Because if that's the case, you know, I'm hearing you in this reading. Because I have been asking you about these things. I've been asking you, you know, what do you have to do? Therapy, believe me, is way less, what's the word? It's not as taboo as it once was. It's kind of not a big... It's like getting a gym trainer, you know? You go to the gym and you're pushing on the bar and the gym trainer says, come on, push one more. And you're like, oh, okay, that's enough. And the person's like, no, come on, one more. Go. And then you go, ooh, and then you push one more time and you're like, okay, I'm done. And they're like, no, come on, one more. I'll help you. That's a gym trainer. And a therapist and a counselor is the same thing. It's just somebody who's taking a peek at what we've done in our past and what has happened to us in the past and helping us move through. If you've got like a muscle out of joint, you can always fix it. You can always work best with what God has given you. Now, Francesca, I'm hearing you. I would say that this love issue is something that might be a deep part of who you are. And you've probably spent a lot of time feeling the pain in relationships. That being the case, it would be good for you to meditate and contemplate, which I know is tough for you because remember, we have a Leo here in the 12th house with a sun that might find it difficult to look back and to find the goodness out of everything that has happened to you. Because at every person's age, there's always wisdom to be found. There's always a remembrance of the things that you've gone through, even the things that you haven't done. Making peace with these things is important for everybody. And it's going to be especially important as the eclipses start to fall into Leo and Aquarius. Pretty much at the middle of 2026, we're going to have eclipses in Leo. And this is going to be an important time for you looking back on your life and finding the things that you have to do, making peace with what you've done, and possibly talking with people doing classes, checking out, Tantra, for example. And Tantra doesn't mean like sexy. It's not Kama Sutra. Tantra is about what am I as a woman? How do I make myself happy in relationships? And how do I make others happy in relationships? If you are interested in relationships, Francesca, it's going to be important. You had a reading with other astrologers stated X was coming back. Is that what you're interested in? Is that what you want? Because, I don't know if that's something you're seeking, but what I would say, Francesca, what's more important is whether your ex comes or doesn't, you need to look within yourself and start to think about what makes me a valuable person. Because remember, Francesca, every man wants a woman who has this spine, who has this feeling of personal power. So whatever the cosmos gives you, it's going to give you. If you're seeking for your ex to come back, then, you've got to feel that out. I don't know the story of you and your ex. And in this short reading, within a half an hour, we can only talk so much about it. And we can talk about it if you want. But what's more relevant for me as an astrologer to tell you, Francesca, is that whatever the cosmos gives you, you got to use your Jupiter and start having faith that the universe is giving you what you're supposed to get. The universe is coming at you. What you want to do is be strong, manifest the right consciousness so that you can be happy and fulfilled with whatever the universe gives you. When it comes to love, the universe might give you something related to love, especially if you're really seeking it, because that's the only way that anybody ever finds love. If you see a banana up there in that tree, the only way you're going to get that banana, you could stand there forever and hope that it falls into your hand, but you're going to miss a lot of life along the way. The only way that you're going to get anything in this life is to imagine it and propel it forward with your consciousness and your imagination. And what goes through your imagination is what is going to bring the end result of what you get. That's why as an astrologer, I'm not here predicting with you whether your ex is going to come back or not. To be quite frank, to me, that doesn't matter. Your ex is going to do what they're going to do. You're going to do what you're going to do. The proper place to come from when it comes to love is to be strong and firm in the foundations of what you seek in relationship. And this means looking at your shadow, looking at your triggers, looking at the things that have triggered you. And Francesca, I won't hang on this too long if you don't want me to. But me as an astrologer, me as a counselor, when I was talking about going to classes, for example, Tantra classes, there's plenty of online things that you can hear about how woman's power comes from the goddess energy of attraction. Women are magnetic. Men are electric. Like their genitals are outward pointing. Men go out for the thing. For you, you have to imagine the thing you want and bring it in. The universe is coming to you. And so that's why it's important for any woman to think about the magnetism of woman, of goddess energy. And there are plenty of, it's a very big movement right now where, especially because women all throughout time have kind of been regarded as women have been repressed for a long time in history, and we're still moving through that in today's time. So understanding the power that you have as a woman to magnetize and bring in what you need through the power of your manifestation, your imagination, your mantra. Now, I don't mean if you try to imagine that a man is going to come in and save you, then you're going to have a man who's going to be like a mom for you, who's just taking care of, they're not going to actually give a shit about you. They're only going to just hope they're only going to like the whatever good you're hoping they're going to take from you right now. And if you don't consciously build the kingdom that you want, you're not going to get a man who is going to satisfy you. If you don't build yourself into something that is worth satisfying, that is worth being with, and it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It just means that this is where your consciousness should be oriented, is within. By finding happiness in yourself, happiness in your senses, happiness in your body, and doing tantric goddess revelation things, ceremonies, rituals, where you're looking within yourself, writing down in your notebook. These are the things that make me happy. I would like to have a man who would like to share this experience with me. Even reading books that have to do with relationship hygiene, communication of things, this kind of stuff is all important when it comes to relationships. And I think that you have the power to understand this. Really, the Jupiter in you needs to do its best to focus on what it truly seeks. And especially because you've got Saturn in Taurus, and Taurus is the Swamsha. There's going to be a lot of work that you have to do in being someone who you would consider to be marriage material. But you can do it. Your Saturn is good in this chart. You have a lot of things that are of highly of value to many people that are at your age. You've got a Venus that is solid here. You've got a Saturn that's not getting burned away by anything, right? You have good things. Everybody has something good inside them. Everybody has something that's worthy of being loved. You want to look into the past to see what has made me not able to be loved. What do you constantly tell yourself? What mantras do you tell yourself? Do you tell yourself that I'm just unhappy and no one's ever going to love me? If these are the thoughts that constantly run through your mind, this is the best work that you can do for yourself. And possibly building a foundation, some kind of pillar. That's my phone going off. Building some kind of pillar for yourself, whether it's a religious ceremony. Again, I would even highly recommend the Surya mantra, just the sun mantra. Start manifesting. Every morning you wake up and you think about the sun. Truly. The sun is a masculine energy. The sun is something that's within you. And visualize the sun being inside of your organ systems, your energy right here. And just close your eyes, breathe in, and imagine that the sun is radiating from the core of your being. You breathe in, and it goes out. You breathe out, and it goes back in. Sun radiates. Sun exhales and goes back within you. Try to make this a constant thing. And try to visualize that this sun is the same light of truth, of illumination, that men carry as masculine energy. To realign the masculine energy inside of your own mind, and to consider this as an anchor with which you can develop this consciousness, with which way you can work on anchoring yourself in what you seek. Now, Francesca, I hope that this hasn't been this is the end of our reading today, and I feel like we did a lot of work here. Now, there are some times when I get all sorts of different people who are interested in astrology for all sorts of different reasons. One thing we didn't talk about is the moon's nakshatra. The moon is inside the sign of Mrigashirsha here. Mrigashirsha, the main theme of Mrigashirsha right, it's the gentle doe. There's a desire to benefit and nourish others. It mixes with many different types of groups of people, making attractive and gentle entreaties to create unity among groups of people by weaving diverse viewpoints into a cooperative unit. It can be tough. It can be desirable for creating unity, peace, and partnership, but it can be tough in situations that demand stern and direct confrontation. The moon does well here. So there is in Mrigashirsha a gentleness, a simplicity, a quietness, and people would love you and could love you for this simplicity, this gentle deer-like energy that you often apply to things. It's the gentle doe. You know, Mrigashirsha is a good nakshatra. It's a highly regarded nakshatra in the nakshatras when it comes to softness and gentleness and love. There's definitely an embodiment of love available here. But when it comes to confronting yourself, when it comes to dealing with lessons that you need to learn for yourself, when it comes to being stern and firm in a given direction, Mrigashirsha can be a little bit soft. And with all of these things that we've seen in your chart, this type of confrontation is tough, but I think that it would bring some goodness. And it's only going to come from yourself, but also by finding help. Using your Jupiter and Mercury, exercising it. Look for the type of people who can help you to find peace and happiness as an individual in relationships. And to think about what it means for you to be in marriage, in relationship. Ultimately, by finding happiness within you, you'll find happiness in relationships. And by developing and experiencing and maturing through the relationship, you also find happiness within yourself. This is what happens when the nakshatra's nodes are in the first and seventh axis. The Pluto and Ketu in Virgo can make it very sort of self-critical. And this might be how you have to patiently move through this experience. Be patient with yourself and use all of the softening, all of the help, especially therapy if you can help it. You know, some kind of counselor who can move you through and show you that you're probably in a better condition than you might realize. It's just that there are things that can get us in our heads. So use all the resources that you have available to you. Have faith in your heart and have faith that there is something good in you that can bring you the happiness that you seek. It's only going to happen if you consciously manifest it and imagine it. So I hope that this has been helpful, Francesca. Let's call it a day because I think that we've gone through a good reading here. Francesca, I haven't heard from you for a little bit since I've been doing this reading. That's okay. You know, these readings can be a little bit tough. I always try to give the warning of that, and I know that you have heard these, my warnings. But you know, this toughness isn't because you have a bad chart. It's tough because, like, I've been doing my shadow work. I've got a girl in my life who I've been with in an intimate way for a long time. We're non-monogamous right now. We're not committed, but we're still intimate. And she's been encouraging me to check out shadow work. And so there are modules that you can find online. And Francesca, if you're interested, I can show you the one that I found, where I looked it up. And this girl is there, and she moves you through this shadow work stuff. She asks you questions. What is it that triggers you in a relationship? What is it that triggers you in your life in general? What kind of people make you angry? What happens when you are confronted with difficulty? Do you freeze? Do you flee? Do you fight? Or do you fawn? All of these triggers and reactions is deep shadow work stuff that I've been having a hell of a time with. Like, it sucks, dude. It sucks. It just sucks. It's just nothing but suck. It's really brutally tough to look at the stuff, look at the places where you are not guided by family. You weren't guided by anybody. Nobody saw your darkness growing under the rock. And now this thing is turned into a monster that you just want to stuff down and show everybody your good side. But then somewhere along the way, this monster comes along and he can ruin relationships over it. He can ruin jobs over it. And it sucks to deal with it. We all get it. We all have it. But the people, especially with a good Saturn like the one we have in this chart, the people who are willing to roll their shoulders back, be present with the truth of reality, and consider it to be a communication from the cosmos and what kind of love and harmony our soul seeks. That's what astrology is. That's what relationships are. That's what life is. It's a reverberation. You know how bats, they can't see, so they use and that's how they see an object. It's the reverberations of that object around the objects around it. This life is a reverberation of our soul so that we can see it, we can regard it, and we can love it. That's what this life is for. And sometimes that can be tricky, can be painful, but it's always sourced in the love of the cosmos trying to touch itself, trying to see itself, trying to bite the universe is it's a baby biting its own toe and laughing at that self-recognition. That's me, I love, I am. That's what the universe is doing. And it's doing it through all of us in different ways. That's why we practice astrology. That's why we come together as community and support each other, hold each other up, and give each other the space to come into that love, even when it's painful and dark. That's what we do with astrology. It can be very hard to see past your own resistance to your growth, to remark it where you self-sabotage, at the moments where you break yourself apart. It can be hard. It can be tough. But it'll honestly, in the end, be tougher if we don't do it. And if we do it together in love, we're inching humanity one soul inch at a time, farther than we were when we started. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. So Francesca, my dear, I hope that this was an okay reading for you. Now, I'm going to keep this reading up here. Francesca, if you feel any way about this reading, let me know. I can easily take these. I can always take these down. But I hope that you give it a chance. I hope that you listen. And I hope you take your time with it. And if you ever want to contact me about anything particular, you can. If anybody wants to, you can contact me at astrology@dustincormier.com. Let's give Francesca a nice golf clap. Very well done, Francesca. Yes, very well done. Thank you, Francesca, for volunteering your chart, volunteering your time, volunteering your vulnerability to be a part of our community self-realization effort. And thank you, everybody else, for hanging out. It's nice to see Gogo Pogo here. Om Dram Dream Dram Sa Shukraya Namaha. I appreciate that. I'm about to go and eat some lunch, so it's nice to hear some Venus energy coming through. Shukraya. And to everybody, we've got 10 people who have been watching with us. Robbie, as always, it's nice to have you hanging out here, my friend. You know, Robbie, I think I gotta make sure, I guess, yeah. I know, Robbie, if you ever want to do one of these readings, you can as well. When I do the roll calls, you can always join in, but yeah, you don't need to. Auspicious Human was here hanging out with us. And we also had Lori Sturpin Astrology. It was nice to have you here. Mo, it was a pleasure. Michael Angel, nice that you've been hanging out with us. Healing Wisdom Arts. Very nice to have you as a part of this as well. And remember, everybody, we are doing more readings in 2 days. We're going to have our next one on December 13th, 2025. And we are going to be doing a similar reading just like we've done here today. It's probably going to be 3 people. And it's going to be in particular for my YouTube channel subscribers. It's different from the email list. The YouTube channel, I think it costs $3 a month. And once again, it's something that allows me to keep doing, to fuel my energy, fuel my pockets, so I can keep doing this work that I'm doing here. Glad to have you here, Loris Turpin Astrology. And nice to have Shira here. I'm glad that you've been hanging out with us as well. We had a few people here. Sean Palak was hanging with us, Lamar Long, Nior, Itzel. It's nice to see Itzel here. Toxica, of course, as always. Sumpira Sam for volunteering your chart as well. For everybody here, I'm Dustin Cormier, and this has been How to Rock Astrology. Now, something I'll do before we end here. I really appreciate Monica, as always, for reminding me to do this. You guys have all done enough for me by joining my email subscription list. But if anybody feels like it, I often like to put my PayPal here because I love to do the work that I do. And it's nice to get a little extra love whenever I can. Buy me a coffee, whatever it might be. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Monica. And thank you so much for being a part of it today, folks. Today was a great session. Let's look forward to another one this coming Saturday. And we'll see if we do one more before Christmas after that. We are going to find out. I think around Christmas, I might take a break. That's usually what I do around Christmas time. But sometimes I pop in. We'll see how it goes. So thanks to everybody. I appreciate everyone. I appreciate all your time. Namaste. Keep your eyes on the skies. And I'll see you guys on Saturday. For now, let's go and eat some food and get some shukra into us. Take care, folks. Thanks for